think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name is Bart Hansen. My buddy here is David Tuckman. Take a look at his tie.
My Sesame Street tie.
Who gave this to you for Christmas?
My niece actually gave it to me.
Does she know that Christmas is next week?
I actually got it for my birthday.
When's your birthday?
My birthday was December 8th. So.
Well, today is Monday, which means it's a limit hold'em night, and it's going to be 8-16 limit hold'em. Now, because of the lineup, Dave, this game is probably going to be playing more like a higher mid-level game. We got a couple of 2+2ers in there. We got Rick Nebbiolo in there, and we got a couple of people that I know are tight. So it's going to be interesting to watch. 8-16 limit hold'em.
Instead of the normal 8-16 where 6 people are sitting flop, it'll be more like 3 people.
So 4-8 chip structure, a lot of chips on the table. Let's get to it.
Let's
go around and introduce the table.
Well, in seat 1 we've got Nicole. And
that's actually
that's not Nicole,
isn't it? Sylvester.
Yeah, doesn't look like Nicole at all.
Yeah. No.
And I guess Sylvester's playing over Nicole. There you go, Sylvester. Seat 2 we've got Veen Dehai. We'll call him Veen. I want to get a pronunciation for that one, but we'll figure it out. Seat 3 we've got Michael. And
that's Surfing.
That's SP Surfing, exactly. We played. He played 3 to 500 game last Tuesday. Really nice guy.
Right.
Seat 4 we've got Garland. It's Garland Chan.
And that is Garland on 2+2 as well.
Oh, okay,
Garland.
cool. Seat 5, we've got Dimitri. Dimitri's part of the Russian mafia. Owns about 12 or 15 cars. Seat 6, we've got Bin Pham. There we go. Seat 7, we've got Ebi Mosanen. I don't know much about Ebi. Seat 8, we've got Michael. And Michael actually also plays. He usually plays a 20 game.
He's actually a pretty solid 20 player. I mean, he's tight. Not necessarily. He's not the best player. But
well, a lot of these players are tight, but they haven't quite mastered being tight and really aggressive.
Right. Exactly.
You pretty much know where they're at.
Right.
And there's another player like that is Rick Nebbiolo. Let's see how he plays tonight. Be interesting to see. And obviously, he's also a 2+2er.
Right. So we got 3 2+2ers on the table. Now, if you want to follow a live thread that started on the internet, you can go to 2plus2.com, spelled out, click on forums, World Poker Tour, and other televised tournaments. And as I say that, Dave, the thread has not been started yet. My God, what are we going to do? Well, I'll see if KevMath, our buddy over there in Syracuse, does it in the next couple of minutes.
Well, it is December in
Syracuse. Yeah, he could be out of power or something. You can also email us at liveatthebike.com.
Look at this flop for Bin here. He's got King 10 of clubs. He's open-ended with the flush draw.
Turns a 10.
And now he's got a pair. But he's still behind.
Now, I think that Garland bet the flop. Bin raised and Garland just called. Now, Garland's going to come out and bet the turn.
Well, that's a smart play there. A lot of times people will raise the flop and take the free card when they miss their club draw. Now, obviously, in this case, Bin's hand is so strong that he can continue to bet it.
And the river's a 4, and Garland is good here, and he's going to bet again.
Yep.
And Bin missed. And if you take a look at that board, Dave, again, more skilled players, with the King 10 of clubs, you actually might raise the turn, and it's really difficult for someone with ace-queen to call there, right? It's just, again, usually more advanced players make their moves on the big betting round, whereas if you've got players usually that play at this level, if they raise on the big betting round, Dave, one pair is almost 100% not good.
Right, and it would have been interesting had he just smooth called the flop and then raised on the turn. What would have happened there?
I think it would have put Garland in a tough spot here.
Yeah.
Now, Bin is going to raise here in early position. He's got King-Jack offsuit. C2's got an Ace-Jack of diamonds. And he's going to 3-bet. That is, again, we'll get clarification on his name, Vin.
All right, one more chip. There we go.
And he's dominated Bin. So Bin is all in here.
So we got Bin and Vin.
Yeah. And that's going to do it there. The ace takes it. And
all right, let's have a look at it.
Vin there with Ace-Jack is going to take it down.
Take it down. So I'm pretty excited. I hear that tomorrow, starting at 8 p.m., There's going to be a Tuckman versus the World 2.
Ah, why don't you explain a little bit about that?
Well, what you have to do is, first of all, you've got to go to the bike's free site. I guess to go to there, thebike.com.
Right.
And you to earn a free $1. A promo buck. You've got to earn a promo buck and you can earn a promo buck by either winning a multi-table tournament or by winning a sit and go.
Okay.
And you use that promo buck to enter the tournament tomorrow night. Now, the tournament is a $100 free roll tournament that starts at 8 p.m. Plus, there will be a $200 bounty on my head. Whoever knocks me out of the tournament
8
gets
p.m. Pacific time.
Yes.
11 Eastern.
Exactly.
4 a.m. Dutch time.
There you go. and an additional $200 to whoever knocks me out. And it is a tournament. I think the blinds start at 5:10, and you get 1,500 chips.
Right.
So it should be fun.
Now, Rick Nebbiolo, he's going to bring this one in raise here with pocket nines. And look at this. Dimitri's going to call out of he's going to defend here with queen 8 offsuit. You know, it's interesting, Dave. There are a couple articles in this issue's card player, this month's issue card player, about defending blinds. And look at this. Rick has got top set here. Dimitri checks, Rick bets, and Dimitri is going to fold. And C2's name, Dave, is Vince. Like
He wants to be known as
Van
Vince.
Patten.
Yeah. Well, that makes it easy for us.
So what do you think about those articles, Dave, about...
I haven't read it yet.
Oh,
I
yeah,
got to be honest with you.
those?
Yeah, you put me on the spot there. I have not read it yet.
there were two separate articles. And actually, I was
When did it come
talking-
out? Just a couple days ago?
Yeah, it's the newest card player with
Okay, yeah.
Evelyn Ng on the cover.
Oh, yeah, I haven't read it yet.
And they were talking about how, well, at least one of the guys in one of the articles was saying how you can almost call with any 2 cards from a really late position raiser, like a button raiser, because you're getting 3.5 to 1, which is kind of what the idea that Shirley goes with. I don't necessarily really buy into that idea, Dave. You know, you're obviously out of position. And, okay, what if you do hit a pair and it's bottom pair, you're just going to stick with it the whole time?
It's more of this, though. But even if you don't want it to be, don't hit a pair.
Right,
You're basically going to check and fold.
right.
So you have 3.5 odds that you're going to hit a pair. But then if you hit a pair and it's not
Right.
top
right.
pair, well, then what do you do then?
Yeah.
Now,
Now,
if you're against a tough player, you know a tough player is going to be able to outplay you when they have position. I don't know about that one.
Now, seat 8 here, that's Michael. He raised with ace-queen offsuit, and it looked like the blind Bin called with ace-3, and Bin's got a pair. And Michael, look at that. He checked right behind him, and both players have wheels now. Bin's going to come out and bet. Michael calls. And again, Michael is tight, Dave, but he's really not tight aggressive. And the river here is a 5.
Well, you saw he actually checked the flop.
Right.
Heads up with ace-queen.
So they're going to chop it up there with an ace. You know, it was almost like in those articles in Card Player, Dave,
Yeah.
they were like, well, that guy, he would fold something as strong as ace-10 offsuit to an under-the-gun raiser or an early position raiser, but he'll call with, deuce-3 offsuit to a button raiser because he figures, well, that guy is just raising with any 2 cards.
See, I'd rather 3-bet it then.
Right.
If you think the guy is raising with any 2 cards,
Right.
well, then 3-bet him and take the control of the hands.
Right.
Because once you call, well, then what do you do? If you hit a deuce or a 3, well, that's great. What do you do then?
Right.
You're going to bet it, and then he's going to call you, and then you're going to bet, and then he raises you. What do you do then if he's a tough player? Now, there are certain players. Now, let's say Michael in seed 8. Let's say he would have raised late position, and I have some sort of 7-5 or something in the big blind. I might call against him because he's only going to bet it when he makes his hands.
Right. But again, if you look at somebody like Michael, if he raises you on the turn, Dave, he really does have the goods.
Oh, of course.
Now look at this. Dimitri's going to raise here from the button with 7-8 offsuit, and the blind is the same hand, 7-8 offsuit.
But it's a perfect demonstration of power of control here. Power of position, I'm sorry.
Well, Ebby's got a club in his hand. Dimitri bets the flop here, I believe. Yeah.
Check raised me on the flop and spiked more 2 others on the
Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, and I believe that Ebby called.
Wow.
So Ebby called here with the 8 of clubs. The turn's a 3.
How does Ebby call that?
And Dimitri's going to bet again. And Ebby calls again. And the way that Dimitri's played this hand, if a club doesn't come on the river, Dave, he has to obviously bet the river. I think he thinks the guy's on the club draw, and there it is. It's a club. So I think Dimitri's probably going to give up now. Well, the guy's going to come out and bet with the 8 of clubs. My goodness. And Dimitri folds.
Wow. That's an interesting hand there.
Yeah.
I mean, if a club didn't come, though, what was going to happen? Was Ebby going to check and
Check
Dimitri's
fold,
going to bet
I
and
would
fold?
assume. I mean, if I had played the hand like Dimitri did, obviously you're going to bet the river.
You have to.
You put the guy in a club draw, and he checked it. He checked his cards.
I'm not a big fan of the way Dimitri played that hand because you're not sure if the guy's on a club draw or if he's on an ace.
Small blind there,
We went to the guy's got an ace with a garbage club, you know?
Well, what would you have done?
Probably bet once, and when he called me one time, I'd be done with it. To be honest with you.
I don't. You know.
I mean, the flop's ace queen blank, all clubs, right? And he's actually going to call my bet on the flop. I go, okay, I'm done with it. You beat me.
C2 here has made a raise. I don't usually raise a hand like 7-8 offsuit
Yeah.
on the button. It's really not that good. Especially against guys at this level that will just call any two cards in the blind. Any
No,
two
without a doubt.
cards.
I mean, I'll raise Sean.
Right, like a tight prop. But,
A tight player, I'll raise
Right.
that one with any two cards to the button.
three-way action here. Vince raised in seat 2. He's got ace-king.
Well, Ebby has flopped a straight.
Seat 7. Vince is going to bet. That's a coordinated board here. And Ebby's going to check raise here. And Vince calls.
And
Vince
Vince
has
is the jack.
Well, he's got a backdoor. Oh, he's picked up the ace now.
Yeah.
And Ebby's going to come out and bet here.
I got to tell you, when
And
Ebby raised me there, I'm not really fond of the
it's
ace.
actually the ace of clubs. And look at this. Ebby, and Vince raised. And Ebby 3-bet. Ebby 3-bet. Now, obviously, Ebby's hand would lose to King Jack here.
Now, I got to tell you, if you get 3-bet in this position, it is a matter of odds. But you can safely throw your hand away and know you can't win. There's no way one pair of aces is going to win.
River's
this.
a 9. And it went check here. Wow. Still think I would have bet there with a jack at the end. I mean, what are you scared of?
I mean, the only hand that you could have is if he had a jack, you're chopping it. Because if he had King Jack, he was already there anyway.
Right. And you 3-bet him on the turn.
Thank you.
That's usually a pretty good check raise card, too, Dave, on the turn when an ace appears
Oh,
there and you
yeah.
have jack 9.
But he actually bet straight out and made more money. He bet it, got
Yeah,
raised.
you know,
and
sometimes
did
I
the
do
3-bet.
that, too.
Yeah.
Because, but you do kind of have to be wary when someone comes out and bets on the scare card and then they don't. Again, against
Right.
a player that's not that advanced, usually they'll shut down.
Well, it's interesting. You go, wait a second. He check raised me, so maybe he's got the queen. Now the ace comes out and he still bets it.
Right.
You almost put him on 2 pair at that point.
Right.
Raise.
Because the ace didn't scare him.
Now the button's going to raise here. He's got ace 9 of clubs. Open raise here. I think I would have done the same thing. And Nebbiolo calls here with king high. He's got king 7 in the blind. Queen 10-6 here. See how this one goes. Great checks. Look at this. Ebby didn't bet. The turn's an ace. He took a card and he's hit top pair.
I mean, against passive players, yeah, I don't mind calling in the blinds because I'm getting 3 to 1 on my money, and they're not playing it aggressive.
And look at this. Rick is going to bet here. He's got a gut shot with the king. And Ebby's just going to call with the ace. Now, if a blank comes here on the river, Dave, and Rick checks to me, I'm probably definitely going to bet. And now I've made 2 pair. But it's it's a 4th spade. And look at this. A jack would have bring his straight in. And this guy's going to bet with ace 9 here when the 4th spade comes
I don't
out?
mind this that bad because what happens if Rick has king 7 and the 7 is a spade?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or what happens if he's got ace, ace 3 and the 3 is a spade? I'm just throwing that out.
So you're actually trying to almost bet it to bluff him out of the hand.
Well, there's 2 ways of doing it.
Yeah.
First of all, maybe you get an ace to call. Maybe you get a really small spade out there. Who knows? I don't know if you do or not, but obviously you got to play the player.
Right.
There's some players, though, I don't really want to call. I'm trying to think of a tough player or something, or 2. But if I'm playing against Jubart in Limit Hold'em, right, and you raise me in a cutoff seat, I can view it maybe as a steal, maybe it's not a great hand, but if I look down and I see, 8-4, why do I want to defend that?
Raise.
No.
I see more mistakes happen defending fault blinds than anywhere else.
Seat 6 is going to raise it up here with ace 7 offsuit. And, wow. Oh, it was Rick in the small blind that had the jack 10 of hearts. I thought it was the big blind. Well, Sylvester didn't defend there with queen 4.
Yeah, but it doesn't, Rick defends in the big blind with king 7 offsuit, but doesn't defend with jack 10.
No, he was in the small blind this time. Well, I definitely think that there's a difference there, though.
No, clearly there's a difference.
Yeah.
But the hands, Jack 10 suited,
Right.
to me, is clearly a much better hand.
Well,
than-
sometimes, if I had jack 10 suited in the small blind and I know the big blind is going to call because he always calls,
Yeah.
then I might call there with jack 10 off.
Right.
But then again, I'm not a huge fan of taking that, out of position too. Sometimes you realize it's like, if you don't play jack 10 under the gun, why do you want to play jack 10 to a raise in the small blind? It's really only
I
2
happen to
extra
agree. I would
chips.
fold them both.
Right.
But if I'm going to call king 7 offsuit,
Right,
which is
right.
such an easily dominated hand, you could be up against the king 10, king jack, any of those hands.
Looked like Rick made a raise here on the button with the steal 6-9, Jack 9-8, and Sylvester's got a pair and a flush draw, and he's going to bet right in here.
Raise.
And Vince is going to raise with second pair. This is
Wow.
probably going to save Rick. Got second pair, he's out of there.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't. Surprised nobody went for the check raise in this one.
And Sylvester 3-bet. And Vince capped it with Queen 8, Dave.
Yeah, well,
And
he needs a
Sylvester's
10, an
way
offsuit
in
10,
the
yeah.
lead here. Turns a king.
I mean, Vince needs a queen.
I think Sylvester just checked.
Oh,
The
10 or an 8.
Funny thing is, if Vince bets here, oh, there's the heart, and it makes Vince his straight.
Yeah.
Sylvester bets, and Vince raises with the straight. And Sylvester's going to come back over the top with the nuts.
And this is one of those times, believe it or not, when a guy 3-bets you here, you know your 10's no good.
You're straight.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
it's no good. There's no way it can be good.
Yeah. And Sylvester does hold the nuts, Dave, because there can't be a straight flush out there. He's got the 9 of hearts in his hand.
Yeah. That's the absolute
That was
nuts.
pretty, seat 2 kind of made a bunch of mistakes there on that hand.
And that actually a perfect hand there to show why you can really get in trouble in the big blinds defending. He defends with Queen 8, right? First of all, pretty mediocre holding that's easily dominated. Hits a little piece of it. And instead of basically just giving up his big blind, which is 4 chips, he loses an additional, I want to say, 8, 16, 24, 36. He lost an additional 40 chips. No, I'm sorry, 48 chips. So he lost an additional $96 on that hand. With Queen 8 offsuit.
And we got a raise here. By seat 8, he's got pocket 6s. SP Surfing there in seat 3 is going to make the call with King, Queen of Spades. And seat 6 is in there with an ace rag. Now, Michael looks like he got outflopped by 8-7, and Ben's going to bet right away. Look at this. Michael just quickly folds. Excuse me, Michael in seat 8 folds, and Michael in seat 3 folds.
Yeah, Ben takes it down there. And he had the best hand, pair of 7s.
Dave, I saw a great movie over the weekend.
Did you?
Memoirs of Geisha.
Oh, I bet you would like that movie. Jeez. It's supposed to be like a great drama. It becomes like soft porn for you.
I wasn't really paying attention to any of the dialogue, I have to be honest with you.
I actually have the script at home.
Oh, really?
Great script. You want to read it?
I think it was a little bit more visually appealing to me. It actually reminded me of a movie that came out a few years ago about Indian women called the Kama Sutra.
Oh, okay. Hey, do you ever raise out of the big blind with like a king-queen suited?
3 players.
Sometimes, change it up.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little bit for value. We got 3-way action here. I mean, if it's just between a limper and the small blind, Dave, you might do it because you get the best hand.
Well,
Also.
sometimes it also gives you control of the pot.
Right.
Like right here, a flop like this comes out, Michael feels confident that he can probably steal it from everybody.
Now,
But if
see-
you were the raiser, you can then take control of the pot and probably win this and not worry about it.
Seat 3 actually tried to bet there with that ragged board, and Ben just called with overcards, and then Michael just shut down on the turn.
And that's what I was trying to point out there. If he raises out of a big blind with that hand, which is because you got to figure, okay, my hand is probably the best hand. Because if anybody had a better hand than I had, they would have raised,
Right.
and you take control of the hand. So
Have you seen Memoirs of Geisha?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to see it pretty soon. I actually saw 2 movies over the weekend. We saw a doubleheader on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Saw The
King
Family
Kong?
Stone. I didn't see King Kong yet. I want to see that.
Oh, yeah.
Saw The Family Stone, which is actually really good. It's a good movie. And then I saw what I thought was just a pile of dog shit. I saw Syriana.
Oh, really? I'd heard good
Which-
things about that.
I got to tell you, I consider myself a fairly educated person, but the movie was just, the way it was done, it was just so, I don't know.
We need to see Seat 8's cards here. We got 5-way action. Limped around. Again, Seat 8 has 1 king. We can see that.
Well, he's got the best hand. Well, it's just the 1 card.
Dimitri's going to bet here.
And pretty straightforward for Michael.
Michael?
I mean, okay, now it's Michael. What would you guess he has? He limped in here. King Jack?
Oh, it's king, queen offsuit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, King Jack, King Queen, something like that.
So a bet here and a raise. Pretty straightforward. And Rick Nebbiolo, he's got the nut flush draw. He's going to call. And Dimitri still makes the call with Jack 7. The turn's a king, and now Rick's got trips. And Dimitri's going to bet again. And Michael, look at this. He doesn't even raise here with 3 kings, Dave. I mean, Dimitri comes out and bets, and Michael doesn't raise, and it keeps Nebbiolo in for his flush shot behind him.
I'm really surprised Michael didn't raise that.
And the river is a spade, but it fills up Dimitri and Michael.
And Dimitri's betting again.
And now Michael's going to raise here with the 3 kings.
Well, Dimitri doesn't know Michael.
Yeah. And now Rick's flush is no good.
Yeah. It's the one spade you don't want to hit there, huh?
And I think Dimitri thinks he's got a chop pot, but he does
well,
not.
you know what? He actually called the river. That's another bet that you always talk about saving bets, and a limit hold'em is all about saving bets here and there. It's another river you don't need to call. If I bet my
and
full
Michael
house,
raised on the river, yeah.
what's he raising me with? Come on, what's he raising with a jack?
He really, really played it passively, Dave. Though I mean, to not raise the turn.
That's fine, but I mean, I'd almost put him on a full house already then.
Right.
But come on the river, the board is king, king, jack, jack, 4.
Right. Michael's going to be scared that you have a king. He's not going to raise with the jack.
Right, he's not going to raise you. There's no chance. No chance.
Button's going to move over here to seat 4.
Ace king here for seat 2. That's Vince.
Raise.
And wow, I think it looks like pocket kings for seat 3. Oh, this is interesting here.
Wow.
The original raiser was seat 7 with pocket 8s. Then ace king 3-bet it, and then kings capped it.
Kings are in seat 3. Ace king is in seat 2. There we go. And we've
And
got
Dimitri called a capped pot in the
Pocket
small blind with
deuce.
deuces.
and 8-10 of clubs is in there. So we got
Well, you know what?
5-way action, 20 small bets.
Once Dimitri calls, 8-10 of clubs is probably like, wow, oh my god.
Wow, Dimitri flops quads. He's got quad deuces.
You got to wonder if he knew that was coming. Why not bet it?
Dave, I would jam this right away from early position.
Yeah, you know what?
Because he's just going to check call here. Why
Yeah.
not bet, get the guy to raise, and then call the raise?
If he bets it,
Yeah.
honestly, I would even do more than that. If you bet it,
Turns a queen.
right,
Yeah.
you bet your deuces,
Well, now he's going to bet.
right, but if you bet your deuces on the flop, you get raised, then you can 3-bet it.
And look at this.
Of course he's going to raise. Why wouldn't he?
Well, actually, he just called.
Wow.
Everyone just called. But I got to tell you, if a king comes out here,
Or an 8.
oh, the river's a jack.
And it's a third diamond. That might
And
slip.
Dimitri checks the quads on the river. Well, and now Michael thinks he's good with kings.
Well, you can't blame Michael.
And now Dimitri's going to check raise. Boy, Dimitri played this hand
And I got to
odd,
tell you,
Dave.
you wonder if you're Michael. Can you throw away kings here?
Yeah. Well, he's going to pay it off.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, so many people, when they flop monsters, Dave, they get into slow play mode. But if Dimitri had bet the flop, he would have got a couple of callers and a raise. Then he smooth call there again. And then I think because the guy was in control of the hand in C3, I think he just bet right into the turn again, as opposed to check raising. Because you might knock everybody else off on the side.
I have no idea what Dimitri is doing in that hand, to be honest with you. I mean, first of all, he called a capped pot in a small blind with pocket deuces.
Yeah.
Gets lucky enough to flop quads. And played it, to me, I mean, as bad as you can play it.
But we're going to take a look here at chip count.
Got you on the river, too.
And again, in limit hold'em, it doesn't really mean that much, but we'll just keep track of this and see who's up and who's down.
Yeah,
obviously.
exactly. It's
Stack
interesting.
sizes big.
Vince up at the high there. Bin down the low.
Yeah. Big blind here is in C7.
And the funniest thing is that I have a lot of respect for Dimitri's game. And Dimitri's a great Omaha player, very good
Yeah, but
mixed game.
limit hold'em is actually his weak game, Dave. He'll admit to that. He does not like limit hold'em.
Well, I mean, and it's very apparent. You watch
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
because he's a very good. I mean, like deuce to 7, Omaha, Padugi, plays a lot of that, and he's very good at it.
Now we had a raise. We had a raise here. Garland with King 9, and Michael's going to check raise. He's got top pair. He's got Queen 10. Or excuse me, that's Ebby with the Queen 10. Ebby check raised the flop, and now he's going to lead here on the turn.
Now, this is an interesting question for you. A lot of times, okay, you're the pre-flop raiser with King 9. The guy checks you. You
Right.
bet. He then check raises you.
With King 9, I'm probably out of it.
That's what I mean. Can
Yeah.
you just throw the hand away?
Yeah, of course. So what are you trying to spike there, King?
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, can you
Ah.
just? I mean, because a lot of people go, well, I'm going to call one more, and if I don't hit it on the turn, he'll bet. I'll throw it away. Can you just even save that half a bet?
I mean, sometimes people get involved. Obviously, you might get involved with 2 overcards, Ace King, but you
Oh.
got to watch out though. Sometimes too, because you might be shared, and your pair might give somebody 2 pairs.
Right,
Well,
but if I'm heads up, let's say I'm heads up with you. I raise out of the button with Ace King or something like that. The guy checks to me, when rags come out. you know, and then he check raises me, I
Right.
can take one off because I've got aces and kings, obviously.
3 bets.
We had a raise here by seat 4, and Dimitri's going to 3-bet here with ace-10 of spades. So Dimitri has 3-bet the ace-9, and Dimitri has the guy dominated, and we are heads up here. Again, we're playing 8-16 limit hold'em. The green chips are $2 chips. Queen 3-9. Garland's outflopped Dimitri. And he
Yeah.
goes check, check. Wow. Turns a queen.
Well, if you're Garland, you got to know your hand's good here.
He bets, and now Dimitri's actually going to make a move, and he raises. And Dimitri really has played this as if he has an overpair. Or maybe, I guess he could have been
Set
slow
of
playing
queens.
ace-queen. Well, set of queens.
Well, I mean, but he played it like he has a set. You know what I mean?
Right, I would think that he'd have a set on the flop, but, you know, the queen on the turn would make him quads
Okay,
again,
so
and that's
okay,
like,
a set of nines then or something.
Right.
The way he's played it, I mean, it's
Yeah.
like he raised pre-flop, right?
and look at this, Garland gets away from the hand. There it is. And
that's-
that's some advanced play that you do not see much at this level, baby.
Yeah, rarely can he make a move, but you know what though? I don't mind Garland's fold there. He's looking at it going, well, I've only got 2 pair, I've got ace-9,
Right.
and he's raising me. Okay, he must have it.
Well, also, you know, he could have checked an overpair there, 2 kings or aces, something like that, on the flop.
Suppose. Would
No,
you
that's-
check? Would you check that though?
No, of course not.
Okay.
I wouldn't. But I'm
The
just
board's
saying,
queen.
I'm saying that, you know, that's...
Right. What kind of hands might he have?
Of course I wouldn't have checked that.
I mean, the only thing I can see somebody checking there is a set of queens.
Now, Dave, again, well, but the thing there on the turn, I'm looking
Right.
at, well, now let's
Wait a
get
second.
more queens.
Right.
Dave, of course, we're talking about the live thread on 2+2, 2plus2.com. Click on forums, World Poker Tour, and other televised tournaments. I was telling you about a hand on Friday after I got out of Live at the Bike that I went and played in the 500 game.
Yeah.
Now, people who are privy to 2+2 can go and look over in the forum medium stakes, no limit hold'em. And maybe someone can actually cut and paste my hand back over into this forum because I think
Yeah, that
it's
would
an
be very
interesting
cool.
hand to watch.
Now look at this.
C3 raised here with ace king.
And
we're heads
King
up.
10's called here, and Michael's way ahead. He's going to make that continuation bet, which you have to do with Ace King.
Wow, and Bin is going to call here with king 10. Wow.
And you wonder if Bin is going to raise this up.
Turns a queen.
Same thing now. Is Michael going to shut down?
Now he's
No.
going to bet again. I mean, if the guy had something like a 5 or a 6 here, this is an extra overcard. But Bin calls again.
Well, this is one of those hands where you raise or fold, folks, because if Bin
Right.
raised it, he takes it down.
River's a queen. And will this just go? He's got a bet here, right? Right, Dave? He's got a bet. And there you go. Michael folds, so Ben takes it down. And like you said, you raise there on the turn. You've got a gut shot. It is a semi-bluff. But if a guy is just making a continuation bet with ace-king, you know, he most likely will fold,
Yeah.
right?
Now, the only problem with Michael's play there, from what I saw, was if the guy had a draw or the guy missed also, you basically induced that bluff by checking the river. And sure enough, he bluffed at it. He
Now,
just forgot to call. I'm not saying it's easy to call with ace king, but you know,
Right.
heads up, sometimes you got to make that call.
again, I posted up a hand, and it's called 5-10 River Decision. It's over in medium stakes, pot limit, and no limit hold'em. And anybody's comments about that hand would be great. It was a couple days ago, so you have to look a little bit deep, Dave.
A couple of big hands here. Seat 6 has actually raised it up. That's Ben. He raised it up with ace queen. Evie's going to call with ace 7. And Michael, look at Michael. Michael threw away ace 10 suited. But Sylvester's going to call with pocket 4s. And Michael, that's seat 8 there. Pretty tight.
Jack 3 deuce here on the flop, and pocket 4s are good here. And Sylvester actually comes out and bets. There's only one overcard.
I like the bet.
And Ben calls with ace queen, and Evie folds. Turn here is a 6. Sylvester's hand is still good. He's picked up a gut shot now.
And he goes check, check.
Check, check. The river's a 5. He's got the straight now, and he's going to come out and bet. And will Ben make the call here with ace high? No, it doesn't look like it. Sylvester's eating. Again, those are $2 chips, so a rack in this game is $200.
Right.
And a stack of green is $40. Of course, there's 4 stacks in a rack.
And sometimes this game plays huge. I mean, if you get
Yeah.
an action game, it is very easy to win or lose 2 or 3 stacks.
But again, this game is probably going to play a little bit tighter because we've got, you know.
Almost plays more like a 20-40 game, would you
Yeah,
say, right?
that's what I said. This game's going to probably play more like a mid-level game.
And you got a couple of people in there that are kind of chasers, a little
Right.
bit like Ben in seat 6.
And that's pretty common to, like, you know, the classic 20-40 lineup.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I have the internet service provider in my
Now, looks like Ben is going to raise it up here with King 10. Seat 7's got an ace, queen, and diamonds, Dave. Let's see if he 3-bets. And he is going to 3-bet.
Wow.
Rick has got ace.
Well, you know what I mean? Ben has played 3 or 4 hands in a row now. They might be going, wait a second, this guy doesn't have it every time, does he?
Not do you normally see someone in an 8-16 game fold an ace 10 suited to a race.
Exactly.
Although that probably is the best way to go about it.
Ace 10?
Yeah.
Suited or not suited,
Right.
it just doesn't play well.
And Ebby's hit top pair here. Ben checks. Nebby's going to bet with the ace queen.
Now Ben does have the king of clubs.
Ben is going to call here. He checks behind the turns an 8. And Ebby should really bet here again.
Oh,
And
without a doubt, he does.
Ben's going to fold.
Well, there are some players in no limit. They're under the opinion, not only do I always defend my blinds, but I will always take one off.
Right.
No matter what comes out.
Thank you.
I mean, even if I have raised, Dave, especially if I have raised with something, say, mid or early position with like an ace-jack suited, or if I'm in, middle position with, I open with an ace-10 or something like a king-jack, if I get 3-bet and I know the player's solid, and the flop comes out rags, what am I really looking to hit on the turn? Spiking an overcard? Chances are, there are good chances that the guy could have been doing this with ace-king anyways. It probably has at least a pocket pair, right?
Yeah, no, without a doubt, you're right.
We get a raise here by Ben here. Again, he's going to open this time with king 7 of hearts in seat 6.
I think he's played raised or played the last 6 hands.
And I always get a kick out of the fact that some of my buddies only play no limit hold'em, Dave, and they're like, "How do you play limit?" Boy, I guess I would just limp in
With everything.
Well, it's actually the exact opposite, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
You have to play tighter in this game because the odds aren't there, like there are no limit.
Well, in no limit. Limit is I mean, I'll tell you the one thing, in limit hold'em, people make so many mistakes out of the blinds.
Yeah.
Because they just go, it's only, 4 more chips. Now, how do you deal with, like, a player like Ben who's raising, 5 out of 6 hands? How do you personally deal with a player like that?
Well, I think that if you think that he's coming in with inferior hands, you can 3-bet, isolate it.
Right. 3-bet with something.
Yeah,
The problem is always going to call you down with nothing, though. So
Yeah.
you're almost, committing yourself with let's say you 3-bet him with ace-jack. You're going to bet and call down the whole way with it?
Well, Rick is raised here with ace-jack. We need to see seat 6's cards. And he limped in with queen 8 of hearts. And here's the ace. So Rick's hit top pair here. And he bets, and Ben is not going to chase this time with queen 8.
Okay.
It always is interesting to see, Dave, in limit hold'em people's cards because, again, you've never really seen it before in a cash game. And it just is amazing when you actually see people. Sometimes you get scared when you bet the flop and say you made a continuation bet with ace-king, and they called and you think, oh, man, what does this guy have?
He must have something.
A lot of times there's just absolutely nothing.
It's totally eye-opening.
Yeah.
I remember the first time we showed 2040 on this, and I was just, it almost gave me this new confidence because I'm watching the players and I'm going, no,
Right.
they're that bad?
Right.
I couldn't wait to get back in the game.
Raise here by Vince. He's got ace-6 offsuit.
I have a bet also, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna.
And we got a few callers in here. 7-3 of diamonds and 5-6 of diamonds. Ben's got an open-ended straight draw, and he's going to bet right away here. Oh, wait a minute. I guess Vince is going to bet. I'm sorry. It looked like.
Well, Vince is Vince has got it's not the best hand, yeah.
All do is your promise.
Oh, Dimitri's going to fold, and Ben makes the call here.
Now, did Vince raise pre-flop?
He did.
So that's the problem with, you see, okay.
Now Ben's got the straight.
Right, now, Dimitri actually had the best hand before that with 3-7.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that in small blind.
And Ben is going to check raise here.
Raise.
Oh, and Vince is going to call. He's got the 6 of hearts draw. Gut shot to the 5.
Yeah.
And the river here is an ace, and that might get him to call now, Dave. And he does call. Wow. How on earth is ace-6 good there after you got check raised there on the turn? It's just...
How do you call the check raise?
It is amazing.
And obviously at this level, a lot of these players are not professional. They're here for fun. They're here to have a good time. So keep that in mind, folks.
I get it. That might have been a time there where if if a turn heart came up there, Dave, I might actually check behind there with ace-6. You hope maybe a heart comes, and my heart would be good if a fourth heart comes out, because you really have nothing now, heads up.
Oh, you've got nothing.
Okay, thank you, sir. Even can shop girlfriend.
Button's going to move over here to seat
Oh, you got
4.
18-year-old girlfriend like me? $300.
Bin is in the big blind.
Interesting to see how Michael he limps
Wow,
in
Michael's going to open limp here with ace-9 of hearts. He's first in the pot.
here. Yeah, that's a raise or fold spot
Yeah.
there.
We can't see seat 6's cards. King deuce 3, and ace-9 picks up the nut flush draw.
Cards on the window, sir?
I mean, I don't even mind folding ace-9. Ace-9 is a questionable hand. It's not a great holding.
Raise.
But if you're going to enter the pot
Yeah.
and nobody else has entered, and you're in the cutoff seat, why wouldn't you?
And look at this. Now, look at it. Bin had ace-queen here. He bet the flop, and he called the raise. The turn's a jack. Michael's got the nut flush draw here, and he's going to bet again.
No, they're just two players.
And again, this might have been one of these situations, Dave, where I might raise out of the blind against one limper and the small blind with ace-queen for value.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and he folds.
And that's what you're often doing. You're betting it for value.
Right.
You're raising it for value there. And if Ben misses, and if Mike misses his hand there,
Right.
you're going to take it down.
Well, the other interesting thing, sometimes you say, well, if the pot is really multi-way, do you ever throw in some raises with like a queen-jack suited out of the blind or a king-queen suited? And I think you can. It's just that you have to be able to check some flops that miss you, obviously, and just get rid of it, as opposed to the automatic continuation bet.
Oh yeah, I mean,
You know,
if one person limps in, I'm
Right.
raising with ace queen,
Right.
king queen sometimes because I want to take control of the pot.
Right, right.
If 6 people have entered,
and you raise with jack 10 suited out of the big blind.
right? If I'm raising with 7 people in there
Right,
already,
right.
and I'm raising with say jack 10 suited,
Right.
I'm not raising to take control of the hand. I'm raising for value.
Right.
And if I don't hit my hand, I fold.
We get a raise here out of seat number 9, Rick Nebbiolo with king jack. And seat 7, it's got queen 10. And Rick is actually got king jack, so he's got second pair. Ebby makes the call. He's got an open-ended straight draw. Turn is a 6. Again, Rick has got king. There we go. Rick bets here again. And Ebby just check calls here with his draw. At any time, probably if you check raise, Dave, he probably would win the hand. The river's a 9, and he missed. And Rick is just going to check right behind him with hope that he doesn't have ace rag.
Jacks and 9s.
And Rick's got it there with the king jack.
That's the reason to raise. Be the aggressor with your draws.
Right.
Find out where your opponent's at.
Rick has got a nice crisp white shirt there, Dave. Kind of starchy.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys who owns like 18 white shirts.
Yeah.
Just throws them out after he uses them once.
Yeah.
Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. We're playing Limit Hold'em, folks. Yes, that's right, Limit Hold'em. And it's an 8-16 game.
Right.
We play it with $2 chips, so it's a 4-8 structure. Button right now is in seat 6. And the blind is, small blind is seat 7, $4. Big blind is seat 8. That's Michael with $8.
He did have the best hand.
So the button is over here in seat 6. And it's got folded to him, and he's going to raise. He's got king 10, okay.
See, that's a fine raise spot.
Right.
There. King 10 is one of those hands where you don't even you throw it away in the first 3 spots, but on the button you can.
And you definitely don't call it to a raise either, king 10 offsuit. I mean, usually in the games that I play in, Dave, which aren't necessarily all that loose, but there's a few loose players. Usually in the mid-levels, it's not a bunch of players that are bad, but it's a couple solid players, some medium passive players, and some really, really loose players. You're not going to really call raises even with high suited Broadway cards, I guess, except if it's like, say, a king, queen, or an ace, jack. That's a little bit too good. But like, say, king 10 suited, queen, jack suited, if it's just an early position raiser against tough raiser, I'm not going to get involved with that hand.
No, there's not much point. There's not much value there.
Right.
Especially if you're taking it heads up.
Right. We got a raise here by Dimitri. We can only see one card in seat 5. He's got one ace.
Well, seat 6 is the only caller, and he's got an ace, and he's got ace deuce. So he
Ace
must have
deuce
now
suited.
kicked.
King 6-3 here, all diamonds. Again, we only cannot see Dimitri's other card.
I can only assume that his hand is better than ace deuce, though.
Dimitri checks.
Right?
Oh, Dimitri said he did it on purpose. He's got ace 8 offsuit.
No, I did it on purpose.
So we checked the flop, and Bin just bet.
Okay, yeah.
That was pretty passive from Dimitri. He raised pre-flop, Dave. He got a call, and then he just check folded there on the flop, and he
Yeah.
had the best hand. Very interesting. Again, when I was talking about that hand, I'm not going to go into detail about the hand on Friday night, but if people want to look up that hand, it's over there in that form, and maybe
Maybe
bring
somebody
it over
can bring it over
to
for
this
you.
form. But it actually went broke. It was about a $3,000 hand to Mr. Kim. And I told you, the more and more I think about it, the more and more the situation that arose on the river, he is exactly the type of guy that I want to go up against because I know where he's at, and I still couldn't lay the hand down.
You know, sometimes, and no limits like that, you know, after the fact, I know you, after the fact, you kind of looked at it and said, wow, I should have probably laid that hand down. But, you know, no limit is a game of mistakes.
Right.
And one mistake can lose your entire stack.
Three-way action here.
No.
9-8-3, yeah. Now, Rick has got an open-ended straight draw with a backdoor diamond draw. And he bets it. And Vince actually is going to raise it with king-queen.
Overcards.
Yeah, I don't understand the play here.
Why not just get rid of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different board. Now, sometimes I'll raise with 9-10 blanks
Right.
because I have any picture card I'm probably good at. Jack comes out, I have straight,
Right.
and obviously king or queen.
Now, the funny thing is that Vince bet here, and I assume Rick is not, maybe he doesn't think the pot's big enough to chase the open end. Well,
Well, it is big.
he's got an
definitely big.
overcard, too. But if Vince bets here on the river for blank comes, obviously Rick is going to
Yeah.
fold, but he doesn't actually need to bet because king high is good.
No, hey, you know what? Let's give Vince some credit here.
But he's going to bet because he probably thinks he needs to bet here,
Right.
Dave. And Rick folds.
Give Vince credit there. He, he actually had the best hand, but took control of the pot by raising it.
You know, one of the other things, too, Dave, when I first started working here, of course, we are props, so we play limit hold'em the majority of the time. I used to come and limp in with hands that I thought were good enough to play, but not necessarily not good enough to raise with. And now after like about a year of playing constantly every day live,
Yeah.
I almost never open limp with the hand, unless it's an extremely loose passive table and I want to limp in with something like Jack 10 suited or Queen Jack suited. But I'm not going to limp in with King Queen offsuit under the gun or Ace Jack offsuit.
No, I'd rather.
If I'm going to play, I'm going to raise or fold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know the old saying, you can raise with any two cards.
Right.
You know, if you're calling a raise, you've got to have a big hand.
Funny thing is, I actually remember talking to you when I first started working here specifically about one hand. So I was like, Dave, you don't limp with Jack 10 suited under the gun in a limit hold'em game? And you're like, it depends on the table, but not usually.
Right. Well, you know, most people, when I tell them that, there's sometimes I'm sitting next to a guy and he'll see my hand or I'll show him King Jack or King Queen offsuit and under the gun, and they watch me throw it away and they're going, "What are you doing?"
Look at this. Rick raised with pocket kings. Vince 3-bet him out of the blind, and Rick's going to make it 4 bets, and Vince isn't stopping. There's no cap heads up in this game. Vince made it 5 bets, and Rick's going to make it 6 bets. And Vince calls. Rick has really played. He's not scared of the guy having aces.
No, not that player, I guess.
Queen 10-7.
Now, Rick's got the king of diamonds, so he's safe if the diamonds come out.
Check call here.
Now, if Rick does not want to hit a set.
Turns to 6. And this guy's continuing to call with his
I mean,
bet
do you
shot.
put him on aces? I guess
Let's
not.
see if Rick's going to... Oh, there's the ace, Dave. Unbelievable.
That's just
And Rick is going to look at it, and it's a third diamond. Rick's going to look, and he's going to be like, what can I beat here?
Well,
And Vince is going to turn over ace jack, and he's going to be like, you 6-bet me with ace jack?
Well, the thing is, you look at it, you go, okay, 6-bet me, and he's going to bet it.
Wow. Actually, you know, I don't know if Vince came out and bet there at the end, but there was at least a showdown. I think Vince actually bet there.
Oh, okay, I was going to say. So, I'm looking at him going, well, what the heck would Rick bet that for?
Yeah.
You've got to look at it and go, okay, any sane person either has ace-king,
Right.
ace-queen, I mean, he's got an ace in his hand, or he's got queens, tens. You know, you got to go, what is he going to call me?
Again, you have to start looking at the board, too. When you think that you're up against an opponent with a big pocket pair, and I have kings, so obviously I don't want to see an ace, but I actually don't want to see really any other type of Broadway either.
Yeah.
You've got to be careful when other Broadway comes out, right?
Well, to be honest with you, if I'm playing against you,
Right.
and I 5-bet you,
Right.
you know, and you've got aces, you definitely don't want to see a king or a queen out there.
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean? Because the odds of me having ace-king are really slim.
Right. This one's going to get chopped around here to the blinds.
If you call it, I raise. If you call it, I raise. No,
Like most poker games, limit hold'em is really a game of patience and discipline. You really want to wait. You got to wait for the hands, wait for the opportunities to make money.
And again, for those of you that are just joining us right now, Dave, tell them a little bit about what you're going to be doing tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night's actually really cool. We're going to do Tuckman versus the World 2.
Yep.
And it's actually going to be a tournament tomorrow on thebike.com's free site.
It's a multi-table tournament.
Yep, a full tournament.
Yeah.
It's a $100 free roll tournament. And there will be a $200 bounty, $100 carried over from 2 weeks ago when nobody could beat me.
Yeah.
Carried over to tomorrow, so if anybody knocks me out.
$200 bounty.
Yes.
Plus a $100 free roll for whoever wins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
how do we register and get on that?
Well, you got to get a promo buck.
Yeah.
From the bike.com's free site. The only way to get a promo buck is to go on and win, I think, is a multi-table tournament or sit and go. So get on there and get your promo buck and then join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. Pacific time.
Well, Sylvester's got pocket eights here, and he checked his set, got checked around the turns of 9, and now Ben is going to bet, and I'm sure Sylvester is going to raise.
Slow playing in limit hold'em. Why? I mean, I'm trying to figure out a reason for it. Once in a while, if I'm heads up, I want to play it tricky with a player so I can get paid off.
Well, Ben, let's say Ben's going to lay this hand down, which he should. Well I guess Sylvester's going to win more money here anyways, but I want to go through this hand after
well, what can Ben beat? Is Ben drawing dead? Yeah, Ben is drawing
Ben
dead.
is drawing dead. River's a jack.
Well, Ben's open-ended now.
What I was going to say, Dave, is if Sylvester bet the flop, Ben might have just check-called the whole way, but the way that Sylvester played it, a sane player would have folded the turn to his big raise, and he actually would have made less money than just betting the flop and betting each street, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Ben's going to make the call anyways.
Yeah.
My goodness. Again, at this level, usually single pairs are not good.
It's not even top pair. It's second pair.
Yeah.
I mean, what would Sylvester even possibly check raise you with you on the turn?
Well, he raised in position. But
Okay.
Same difference, right? Same difference.
Man.
Right. Oh, absolutely. So you can't just necessarily just sign up for that tournament. You have to earn a promo buck.
You got to earn a promo
buck. You can do
buck.
that by winning the sit and go.
You got to win a sit and go or win a multi-table tournament or something.
Okay. So let's see how
So
many
you got to
people
have a
can do
promo
that.
buck
Yeah.
to join the tournament, and it's a $100 free roll plus $200 bounty on my head. So you can win. I mean, hey, if you do well in the tournament and you knock me out, you can win some money for nothing.
We got a raise here by Rick Nebbiolo with King 10 suited. Open raise there.
And just so you know, I'm not going to be playing like I did on Tuesday. I'm going to be playing a win.
Well, C3 here, he's going to smooth call with ace-jack on the button. That's actually a hand I usually like to 3-bet or fold, Dave, but especially against a player like Rick, who I know is tight, take control of the hand.
Well, it's also a matter of you don't really want ace-jack offsuit. I don't want the blinds in there.
Yeah, Rick is going to bet here. He's got top pair, and Michael's going to call. Turn is an 8. Michael's now open-ended, and Rick's probably going to bet here again.
I wonder if Michael would have raised this.
Well, again, that's a pretty advanced move. He's just going to
Yeah.
call. And here we go to the river, and the river's a 6. And
No
now
good.
anyone with the 7 would have a straight. Let's see if Rick is going to bet
Good.
here.
I love the bet by Rick.
Well, you love the bet. Does that mean if I raise you on the river, you're going to fold King 10 here?
Probably.
Really? Well, again, if people know that you're an advanced player and that maybe they could bluff with the raise. Wow, he's going to call here with ace-jack. I just don't know what ace-jack is
He's
going to
convinced
beat.
himself that he can win this hand.
Yeah.
And how can what can he beat, though? King-queen? King-jack.
King 10 is good there.
Yeah, and Michael obviously didn't play that hand very well.
I know that you're a big proponent of it, and I am too somewhat, of betting the river when you think that you can safely fold to a raise. Now, with a flush, people will do that, but the problem sometimes is when you get raised, you look at the pot and you're like, oh, it's so big. Could this guy be capable of making a bluff raise at me on the
Well, that's
river?
the whole point. You have to reevaluate it and go, okay, would he make a bluff raise?
Now, if I knew that guy was a 2+2 and he raised the river, I actually might call
Okay.
there at the end,
There
you
you
know?
go.
But again, usually against typical competition that we play against.
I've been bluffed out on the river maybe 5 times over the last 2 years. It just doesn't happen very often.
C2 is going to bring that up.
Now, there are times to check the river with a decent hand if you think you can induce a bluff.
Right.
But I don't think Michael's going to bluff there, do you? He's probably just going to be happy to take a showdown.
You would have checked
and
it
hope
down.
his ace-jack is good.
Yeah, he definitely would have checked it down.
But look at that. He got. I mean, sometimes it's amazing because sometimes you go king 10. He goes, "What could this guy possibly call me with?" And and I still get paid off. And there he called him off with ace high, and that's a decent player there, Michael. At least a sane player.
Button there is in seat number 5. Getting it. A couple folds. Again, we're dealing with a pretty tight 8-16 table, Dave.
Yeah, this is not a typical 8-16 game. Here.
Dimitri's going to raise here on the button. Ace deuce. And look at Rick Nebbiolo. He's going to 3-bet with ace 7. Well, he's in the big blind, and maybe he figures he has the best hand, and he does, Dave. He's going to take control of this hand. King 6-6, and a bet here should probably take it down. I would imagine that Dimitri is probably going to fold here. So there you go. There's the, they talk about, sometimes when it's short-handed, Dave, obviously you always love to re-raise. Take control of the hand. Boy, I know that you're checking out the some of the stats from the football game tonight. Boy, what a loser type. What a matchup for Monday Night Football. Boy, they talk about sometimes at Monday Night Football they're actually going to wait a little bit now and try to
make it
schedule it during the season. But their rules really are that they don't put teams on that had less than a 500 record the year before. It's just some of these teams are just falling, like the Jets, for example.
Well, the Jets, Green Bay, Baltimore.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much they can do about it, obviously. I think they're talking about making it a flexible for the second half, the last 5-6 games.
Yeah.
Which obviously would be good.
I don't know exactly how they would do that because usually those stadiums need to be planned way in advance.
You got to raise out of seat 4 here.
Pocket 4s. 3-way action. A few callers here. So
And he's in good shape because they both have very similar hands.
Oh, and he flopped a set of 4s. Well, how about that?
Now he's in really good shape.
He's going to bet right away, Garland. And Ebby over there's got Jack 9. He doesn't have anything here.
We say goodbye to Michael in seat 8, and I think we're going to say hi to Russ, new player.
Vince folds, and Garland's going to take it down there with a set of 4s.
Now, let's be honest. Had he even if he didn't hit a set there, he still wins that pot. And that's
Probably.
what raising does sometimes for you.
Right, with the continuation.
And I got to give you some credit, though. I tell you, the Patriots look like they might be back
Yes,
now.
let's talk about the Patriots.
I'm not ready to anoint them as...
But, I mean, obviously one of the biggest problems with their team early on when they were struggling was their defense, and it seems like that is really back with a vengeance now.
well, to me, that was the whole cause of their problems. Their offense was always fine.
Yeah.
With or without Corey Dillon, their biggest problem was their defense really sucked
Yeah.
the first, 10 weeks. But the last 3 weeks, their defense has come back with a vengeance.
Dimitri's going to open raise here. He's got King 10 of clubs in mid to early position. And there we go. Seat 7, he's going to make the call here with Queen Jack offsuit. Not a whole lot of value there, Dave.
No, I mean, Queen Jack offsuit, sometimes I'll call that in the blinds.
Right.
If I get 1 or 2 other callers. And I'll see what happens. I'll play it that way.
3-way action here. Dimitri leads. And look at the blind call with 6-4 offsuit. 8-9 deuce here.
Now, that's not a bad flop for Queen Jack because he's got to look at it and go, well,
Dimitri checked, and everybody checked. Dimitri's still good here with King High, and everyone's going to check.
now Dimitri's got to fire this.
The river's a queen, and Ebby gets there.
Yeah, he let him get there, though.
And Ebby's going to bet. And Dimitri can't even beat ace high. There's no way he can call here.
What's the value of raising with King 10 if you're going to play it so passive after the fact?
If I have ace king, Dave, and I've called, I've called in multi ways, and there's multi-way action, like 6 or 7 people, and the flop comes out, 3, 4, 6 with 2 hearts, I might just check fold there. I mean, there are different situations that happen, but 3 ways, I've got to tell you, I mean, that's short, that's short-handed. You would think you'd want to drive forward with that hand. And it looked like, if he had bet, he would have taken it down. Button's going to move over here to seat number 2. And new player coming into seat number 8, Russell. Russ, I don't think he's ever been on the show before. Pocket 10's over here for seat 2 on the button. And that is Vince, and he's going to raise it up. Pocket 10's pretty standard. And we get a call here. It looks like seat 7 limped with Jack 5 of diamonds. Heads up. Set of 10s, top set for Vince. And look at this, he's going to slow play it. Turn card comes here, Jack, and now Ebby has top pair. And now Ebby's going to bet. And I assume that Vince is going to raise here. Again, one of the reasons why I would almost never check that flop with a set of 10s is, you know, you have to build up an image that you're going to bet flops and that you're going to be aggressive and that you might bet that flop with ace-king just as likely as a set of 10s. And Ebby called the raise on the turn. Vince is going to bet one more time here on the river. And Ebby made the call with Jack 5. I mean, it's not the fact that you can just slow play there. You know, slow play and you might make an extra half bet or an extra big bet. Then he picked up, he picked up top pair there on the turn. I mean, that's not the point. The point is you got to stay aggressive and bet there with overcards. You know, maybe you have a guy who thinks that he has the best hand. He's going to check raise you with ace-3 there. You know, now you can smooth call the flop, so you got 2 small bets, and then raise the turn. So you're actually making an extra bet. People don't look at it that way. They think that slow playing is going to make them extra money, when in fact betting your hand normally will make you the most money. Especially people who are, you know, beginners to this game think, well, I'm going to wait till the big betting round to get the money in. Well, you know, if you show a lot of strength in the early betting round, a lot of times people won't give you credit for having a big hand. Open limp here by seat 2, 10-4 spades. Excuse me, deuce 9 of spades. Three-way action here. Deuce 9 of spades in the blinds. All diamonds here, king 7-5. And Dimitri's going to come out and he's going to bet here with a 4 of diamond draw.
Oh, I was just trying to play my rush.
Now he's going to take it down. And Vince said, I shouldn't have called. I was just trying to play my rush. Well, often players will play the next hand after they win a big hand. You know, somewhat superstitious and such. Takes that one down with a little semi-bluff as the button moves over here to seat 4.
Rock and roll, baby.
Could have sworn I just heard you say that.
Yeah. Arvin wants to know if you're done shopping yet, Bart.
I am. I only had one gift to buy.
You have one gift to buy?
For my parents.
What about me?
I actually have something for you guys as well.
What do you mean, you guys? I don't want somebody, you guys, me. What'd you get from me?
Here. Limped around.
Oh, trip queens from Michael D.
Seat 3. And he's actually... Vince actually bets out here with pocket 3s. He open limped with pocket 3s. And Michael just calls here.
I don't mind the bet by Vince there. I mean, that's not a bad hand there. You know, if everybody missed, if nobody has a queen there, you're probably good with 3s. But when you get called, you can't like it, huh?
Turns a 6. But what could possibly somebody call you with?
Exactly.
On this
straight draw?
And he shows it and he folds.
Yeah. But I don't mind firing once to see where you're at. As long as he also fires once when he has queens.
River's a queen. Rabbit Cam shows a queen on the river. 4
wow.
queens there for SP Surf right there.
You wonder if Mike had slow played it a little bit if Vince might have got himself stuck there, thinking his full house was good.
Well, there's another kind of little mistake that Vince made there. I think he was 1 off of the cutoff, Dave. He had pocket 3s. Again, that is a raise or fold hand. You're not going to have odds to limp in and try to hit your set. If you want to play the hand, you got to really drive with it, don't you? Drive everybody out behind you.
Yeah, and I don't mind throwing it away, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I know. There's nothing wrong with throwing it away, you know.
Now, some people will get married to some hands. I mean, I remember one time I threw away ace queen to a 3-bet, and goes, "What are you doing?" It's like, why? You pick your spots.
Seat 2 here. He's going to raise pocket 9s.
Queen. I try to bet my 2 pair.
King 10's going to call here in the big blind. Edway, your heads up.
Yeah, not my 3.
5-3-3. Pretty good flop for pocket 9s.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Ebby's going to check and Vince bets. And Ebby's going to take peel off here, Dave, with overcards. Turns an ace.
Problem with overcards is he's not sure if they're good or not. One of the Vince was betting ace king.
Look at that. Vince didn't bet on the ace. How can you not bet there?
Oh, is he going to do some bluff here? No.
And that's just going to get checked. And pocket 9s there are good. Actually called me crazy. Not normally
crazy
in a live game, Dave, because again, we talk about a live table. We're playing 9-handed. And normally there's at least always one person sitting up. I mean, I gotta say at least 75% of the time you're playing 8-handed or less.
Yes,
which is
right-handed
obviously different from playing 10-handed online.
Of course.
If I see a tough player raise in the first 2 spots online, a player that I really respect because of the statistics I have about them, I have no problem folding ace-queen offsuit. Just fold it to a raise.
Without a doubt.
Because he's just saying about 3-bet. But what are you really hoping for? He's probably either has pocket 9s or higher, or ace-king or ace-queen. Probably the only hand that you might be able to beat is, say, if he open raises with an ace-jack suited.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'll be more apt to 3-bet him with ace queen than I would to call.
Right.
I'll 3-bet a tough player and take control of the hands.
Right.
We got a raise here from seat 4.
And then a re-raise by ace-king of spades there on the button.
Well, Ben's in good shape here.
Queen 5-5 here on the flop. Garland checks. Ben bets. Wow, Garland's going to call. Well, he might be thinking about playing the player here, Dave. I'm not sure. Turn is a 6. Now Ben's hand's even better with spade.
I mean, Garland's got 2 outs.
Yeah.
2 outs to win the pot, and the turn the river would have been a king actually.
Right.
Wouldn't have changed anything obviously. Ben would have won there. Garland could have chopped the pot if a 6 or a queen had come out on the river as well.
Button's going to move over there to seat 7. I didn't know that people still smoked Marlboro Reds.
Yeah, are they kind of out of fashion now?
No, I just think that they're kind of harsh.
Oh, okay. You're smoking now again, aren't you?
No, I actually haven't smoked in weeks and weeks. Ever since I had that cough.
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
had a cigarette for probably a month now.
Queen's here for seat 7 for Evie.
I was never, you know me, I was never, like, say, a smoker. It's just, except when I'm drinking alcohol, I'll smoke sometimes.
This is a raise here from seat 6, Ben,
Ace
with
10.
ace 10. And, of course, Evie's going to 3-bet it with queens and isolate him. And we go heads up to the flop.
10 deuce 4, and, you know, Ben might get into some trouble here, Dave, with ace 10. And he's going to check raise here with the ace 10.
And now this is a question here. Now, do you 3-bet him here, or maybe do you just call and then raise the turn? Sometimes I'll just call this.
With overpairs, I actually like to smooth call the flop and then raise the turn. I actually just talked about that when you stepped away from
Well, he
like,
bet it and got check raised, and then you call now.
Right, turn is an ace.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a terrible turn card.
Well, and Ben's going to bet, and Ebby is just going to call now.
Well, now you can't raise anymore. If that comes out, or if a diamond comes out, obviously you can't really do much.
Oh, River's a king. And it just gets worse and worse for Ebby. Can he even call here? Actually, Ben checked. Oh, excuse me. Ben bet, and can you even call there if you're Ebby? But Ebby did call with queens.
Well, the only thing is you're wondering if Ebby had a 10 only.
Yeah.
You know, he's playing it that way.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I understand what you're saying. A lot of times, especially with aces to that flop, yeah, I will smooth call there and pop the turn. But with a hand that's like, you know, less and less value, where there are more and more scare cards like jacks, I might 3-bet jacks because a queen, a king, or an ace come. You don't know where you're at, plus a diamond, like you said.
Right, but you're going to get him. He's going to call your 3-bet anyway. If the king comes out, it's not going to change it. Sometimes I just want to charge the guy as much as possible.
Rick Nebbiolo has bought the button here in seat 9. Now, it's funny. I actually told Rick that he made a mouse-ish bet like a week ago when he was on the show. And I didn't mean a small bet. I mean, if you actually look at the way that he bets, he looks like a mouse when he goes about betting. 5-way action here, limped around.
Well, what does he have here? What is he in here with? 5-3?
Well, he's in a small blind, so I guess he threw the extra 2 chips in here.
Oh, okay.
8-7-3 here.
Not a bad flop for Ebby, huh?
Yeah, Ebby's got the best hand here. Did not bet. He was in position too, Dave.
He didn't bet
Seat
that?
7, he didn't bet.
How
with
did he not bet
sixes.
6s?
And now Rick's made 2 pair, and he's going to come out and bet.
Oh, and I don't even know if Rick calls the bet if you bet.
No, no way. Seat 1 calls here. Sylvester, he's picked up the nut flush draw. And Ebby's going to call with the open ender, so Sylvester needs a heart here. And the river's a queen, and Rick is good here with 2 pair.
Oh, they just gave the hand. They gave the hand to Rick.
Yeah, how do you not bet there with pocket 6s?
When it's checked to you.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you're up front.
And Ebby's going to pay him off. 3-5, there it is.
And those are the same people, I got to be honest, those are the people that go, oh, limit hold, and they just chase you forever, you never get
Right.
it. Well, you got to bet and give the chance to give the guy a chance to fold.
Well, there's another point, too, against very astute players who know that sometimes, an advanced move is for somebody in early position after flop was checked around to just come out and bet on any card on the turn.
Yeah.
Well, if you actually pick up a hand, even more of a reason why I bet, because someone might try to steal it from you and take it away with the raise, and now you can 3-bet.
Right.
Well, a lot of times, Skalansky's book,
The theory of poker or advances
no,
for hold'em?
Hold'em for advanced players.
Yeah.
I love the book, but I don't necessarily agree with one of the pages
What?
where I think
You don't agree with Skalansky?
I think that he said that you should be trying to check raise your good hands on the turn as much as, say, 60% of the time. And I don't necessarily buy that. I almost like betting and then 3-betting.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'm personally, I'm almost the opposite.
Yeah.
You have to have check raise, and it's got to be part of your arsenal.
Right.
Because if you never check raise, well, then every single time you check, somebody
Right.
knows you have nothing.
Right.
So you have to be able to check raise. But to me, instead of check raising 60% of the time, I'd rather check raise maybe 25% of the time.
Right.
And bet my hand 75% of the time.
Right. Well, I guess with the part of the idea of what he says is, well, if you check raise a lot, maybe you kind of get those reverse free cards because everyone's scared that you're always going to check raise. But I don't really not necessarily buy into that, though.
There is that theory there.
Yeah. Now we get a raise here by Rick. He's got ace-jack offsuit after a couple of limpers.
The problem is if you're always check raising your big hands, well, it's hard to steal a pot with just a bet. Because when
Right.
you bet, what does that mean?
Right. Five-way action here. Rick is the original pre-flop raiser here in seat 9. So we get 10 small bets in the pot. Here we go. And 3 of the aces are dead here. Let's see how Rick plays this hand.
Well, Dimitri's flop top pair.
Well, I would imagine that Dimitri's probably going to check raise here, and he does. And that's probably the best way to play top pair weak kicker with a connected board, right? Maybe drive out everybody in between.
The problem is in a game like this, let's be honest, if somebody's got like Jack Queen or somebody has spades, they're not going anywhere anyway.
Right.
You just want to charge it and make it incorrect for them to go for it.
And here we go. Rick calls.
Wow, okay, with rolled over cards.
Turns to king. See, Dimitri continues. No, checks. Dimitri checks.
Wow. I'm assuming Rick is going to take a free card here, right?
Yeah. There we go.
See if he can spike a queen or a jack or an ace.
Oh, there it is. He's made the nut straight. Dimitri checks, and now I think Rick can obviously bet.
Yeah, I just don't understand what Dimitri's doing. You check raise the 10, then the king comes out and you instantly get scared?
Well, I think, everyone, you automatically put somebody on ace-king that he's spiking for overcards.
And now he's going to pay him off, right?
I can't imagine that he's going to pay him off.
Well, he's induced this bluff, hasn't he?
Well,
If it was a bluff, he's induced it.
what would Rick have here, though, that Dimitri could beat? Pocket 8s?
Pocket 8s, maybe?
That's it, right? Pocket 8s or pocket 7s. But the thing is, wind the hand back in your head. If Rick had pocket 7s or pocket 8s, does he call a check raise? No way, right?
Probably
on the
not.
flop? There's
Well,
no way.
to be honest with you, I don't really understand calling a check raise in the first place with ace
Yeah,
diamond check clubs.
offsuit. Yeah, that's
What do you think
kinda
about the board is 9-10
Right.
and you've been check raised? What are kind of hands that Dimitri might be in there with? He might be in there with jack 10, right? I mean, those are kind of hands that people play.
tough. No, I agree.
And if a spade comes off, if it's a jack of spades, well, then where are you at?
Again, I don't automatically bet every single flop, Dave. On a board like that, if there were 6 people in there, 9, 10 deuce, couple spades, sometimes I actually might not bet that. You say you always bet it? It just
No.
seems like there's a ton of people in there, and what do you...
No, you definitely don't always
Yeah,
bet it.
yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of times. Hey, I've raised in like first position with pocket 10s, right? I get called in 6 spots. The flop comes out ace, king, queen. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right,
okay, thanks,
right.
I'll pass.
Now, Vince raised here with pocket 8s. Look at this. Garland's going to call with a gut shot to the queen. Turn is an ace.
Let's see if Garland raises this up here.
Well,
Perfect opportunity to raise, huh?
kind of difficult to do that with Jack 10. I don't really blame him, Dave.
It's easy from here.
Yeah, definitely easy when we can see the cards. Look at this. Somebody posted regarding, Dave, the Monday Night Football. It's actually the Sunday night game, they say, that's going to be the flexible one the last 7 weeks of the season.
Well, that makes sense. Okay.
Again, I think
that's a lot easier
logistically
to
it's
do.
just too difficult. Don't
Change
a lot of
those-
those stadiums have like really stringent schedules? There's a lot of different events.
Oh yeah,
going on.
well, concerts and so
Yeah,
forth.
yeah. fold it around here under the blinds, and these guys look like they're going to chop it up. There's a good look at Garland.
I'm gonna have a new post up on my live at the on liveatthebike.com on Under the Gun with David Tuckman. Probably in the next couple of days. Check it out.
So, Dave, for anybody, again, I'm not going to go through the hand necessarily. Someone's going to have to make the effort to look at the hand. But if people have looked at my post there, boy, that's a really... I'm not going to pat myself on the back because I didn't make the lay down. But even though it was a difficult hand, and I'm mad about the fact that I didn't lay it down, it's a lay down that I've never seen on this show before. That big of a lay down.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
laying down instead is always hard.
Right.
You know? So, very few people can do it and do it.
Right. We got a raise here by Garland.
Obviously, if you want to be a really successful no-limit cash player, you've got to have that ability in your arsenal.
You still haven't told me what you would have done.
I told you 2 scenarios for it.
Yeah. Garland, Russ checks, Garland bets, and
take it down.
Russ is going to take it down.
You want to play blind?
Do you ever think that you would have given your money away like I did at the end?
Yeah, I might have. Who knows?
Yeah.
You never know.
Again, to give everybody an abbreviated version,
Yeah.
I basically flopped a set against somebody heads up, and the guy ended up making a backdoor diamond flush, which was kind of difficult to put him
Right.
on.
The board flopped 2 spades. The turn came a diamond. The river
Right.
came a diamond.
But it was just against the player
Right.
that we're all familiar with. He usually will not come over the top of you unless he had me beat in that situation, which is why I'm so angry about.
Right, you bet he raised you all in and you
Right.
called him. Who knows? I mean, I'd like to say that I wouldn't make the call, but, you know,
Right.
we all make mistakes sometimes. It happens. We're human. God knows I've made worse calls than that.
Yeah.
And I'll probably make worse ones in the future, you know? I mean, it happens.
Three-way
It's poker.
action here. 9, 8, 10. It was linked around pre-flop. Russ is going to get a bet here with an open-ended straight draw.
And is Rick going to get... No, Rick's not even going to get involved with 9 deuce.
What are you really trying to get involved with there for, you know? It's just... But Ebby's going to call here with king 6. He's got a gut shot to the 7, but it would be no good, Dave, because the jack is a better straight. Turns a 10. But his hand is good right now with king high, though. And he's going to call again, it looks
No,
like.
he's not. Is he really?
Wow.
Is he looking to hit?
River's a 6.
Is he looking to hit a 6?
And he's got a pair now, and now Russ just gives up. And Ebby's going to turn over king 6 of hearts. Wow. You look at that, and you look at the board, and you're like, what?
Well, I think Russ was looking at the board just like kind of wondering, what the heck is this guy calling me with?
Again, if you play limit hold'em a lot, there are a lot, there are odds that you kind of need to know, some of the basic things in your head. Usually, if the pot is raised pre-flop with a few people and you can take one off for a gut shot, if it's just limped around short-handed, you don't have odds to take off to hit your 4-outer, especially here where it's the bottom end of it.
Well, if
You
I
know?
had the queen there,
Right.
If I had queen 6, it's different because then
Right.
I'm actually double. If I hit the 7, I have the bottom end of it, and if I hit the jack, I got the top end of it.
Right.
But the jack is actually okay. Well, I got a straight then still. And it's the high end of it. Why I'd want to hit a 7 there, I have no idea. Button is in seat 8, and it's limped around here. 6-way action here. Limped around, so you can do the math real quick. It's an 8-16 game, so $6. 6 times 8, $48 pot. Flop is 10-7-3 rainbow. Not a bad flop for pocket 8. Let's see if Michael throws a little bet in there, see where he's at. Actually, seat 1 is going to bet right away here. Sylvester's going to bet with second pair. And then we get called in every spot, and then a raise from Ben with top pair. He's got the old Doyle Brunson hand, 10 deuce. And now we got 4-way action, and that was raised. So $16 times 4 is another $64 in this pot. The turn is a 5 of diamonds, and wow, Garland has made his straight. I can't believe Garland is in there with a gut shot, and he made the straight, and he's now open-ended, got an open-ended straight flush draw. Wow. And Michael's still in there. How is Michael still in there? I mean, it was raised. You got to know pocket 8, you're no good, buddy. And is Garland going to raise this up? Garland raises it up here. And Ben, the original better, with top pair, but deuce kicker. I mean, you got to know this is no good, don't you? But he's going to call anyway. And this is time for Michael to throw away his hand. There's no way 8s can be good here, buddy. And he's going to let it go. And we're heads up here. Bin is drawing dead, folks. And the river's a 6. It is a one-liner to a straight. Maybe Ben can get away from it. It's a big pot, though. When you do the math real quick, $48 on the flop, $48 pre-flop, $64 on the flop. Then it was raised on the turn. That's another $64 plus 8. I'm sorry, plus 16. Another $80 on the turn. How about a $200 pot here? And it's 16 to call. So, if you think this guy could be bluffing, say 1 out of 8 or 9 times, it's definitely a call. But let's be honest. What are the odds this guy's bluffing? Shows is straight and takes down the $200 pot. Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. If you want to play against me, you can play against me tomorrow night on the bike.com's free site. $100 free roll plus a $200 bounty on my head. Come and get me. Bring it on. And Dimitri's going to be getting up from this game. Probably sees a juicy mixed game he wants to get into. More of a mixed game player than he is a limit hold'em player, as evidenced by his play. Ace Queen of clubs for seat 7. He's going to raise it up. And everybody's going to fold this, actually. Vince lays 4 deuce down. And Ebby's going to show the ace queen. And the button moves to seat 1.
Dave, I actually have some exciting news,
Do
too.
you?
We were talking briefly last week about what are we going to play during our dark week, which is next week between Christmas and New Year's.
Next Monday through Friday.
Yeah, and what we are actually going to do is we are going to stream our television show, the LA Poker Scene,
Really?
on the during the times of Live at the Bike,
That's very cool.
on Live at the Bike, so you can see what we kind of did with the LA Poker Scene and what goes on there in England. We have Ray's here by seat 8. He's going to open
And those
Ray's.
shows are, obviously 90-minute shows.
Yes. So I don't know if we're doing 2 a night or probably 2 a night.
Edited and so forth. It'll be interesting. Wow. 2 shows a night that whole week, huh? Real exciting.
Welcome to the LA Poker Scene, where the action is hot and where the weather is hot and the action is scorching. See, once I got that down the first week, I never had to do it again, so I forgot the tagline.
Right.
Weather's hot and the action scorching, Dave.
Yeah, I don't want to take credit for that, but I have to. don't I?
You didn't come up with that, did you?
I did. I came up with that one.
No, it was one of the few things I'm sure that Chris liked about some of your ideas.
Yes, I think it's the
Our
only idea he
supervising-
liked among.
Our consulting producer for the
Yeah.
show. Dave and Chris have some creative differences.
Oh, whatever. I don't want to get into it
We're
here.
going to raise here by seat 7.
What are the odds Chris sees this show? Very slim, right? He's not going to see this show.
And he's going to take it down there. We do not see a flop. And again, it's ace queen. This is really kind of tight for 8-16, Dave. This is playing more like a mid-level game.
It's really interesting to watch it, though. It's actually
Yeah.
playing tighter than some 20 games play.
Absolutely. We've got 5 or 6 really, really tight people on the table. So we have a seat open there, seat 5.
Yeah, Dimitri got up and left.
Well, I can kind of tell why Dimitri doesn't really like to play limit hold'em.
Well, it's not his game.
It's just not his game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is not as good as he's a great Omaha player. That's his best game.
I like.
Omaha
He's
high-low.
really good at stud high low too. I respect his
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
He's good in those split games. He's actually really good in those
Split pot games, yeah.
split pot games. But this game is not a game that he's. I'll put it this way. I mean, I'd be happy to see in any game, see him in a
Right.
game.
Right. Now look at this. We're going to see an open limp from the cutoff with Queen 3 of clubs. Wow.
Wow.
Button's going to call with Queen Jack.
Now, if he were to raise with Queen 3, I don't advocate. I just advocate folding Queen
Right.
3. But if you raise that, Michael D might fold Queen Jack,
Oh, I think he would.
and then you're in okay shape.
Pocket 4s is actually the best hand right now. It's
not-
checked around.
Not a bad flop for Queen Jack, though.
Turn is an ace. I'm surprised that Queen Jack didn't bet there on the button.
Yeah, and now he's got a double gutter, a 9, a 9, a king, a queen, or a jack is going to win this pot.
Well, he folded. Vince bet out on the flush draw, and
Well, I guess the pot wasn't big enough to go for the double gutter.
well, the other thing too is, I mean, you look at that. That's an ace. That's a scare card that you might be able to actually raise with there on the turn with your double gutter.
Yeah, and do you buy that guy has an ace? I mean,
No, he didn't raise. He limped in with an ace
Exactly.
there. That's what I mean. It's just, I don't buy it.
Oftentimes, I'll make this play, and I'm revealing some of my plays for people. But if I'm in a smaller big blind with like a medium, suited connector type hand,
Yeah.
and somebody in late position open limps, and I see the flop, and the flop comes out with an ace, I'll often bet and represent the ace because I figure that guy doesn't have one because he
Right.
limped in.
Right. Button's going to move over there to seat 4. And this one is going to get chopped around. Yeah, there have been more chops in this game, Dave, than I've seen like in my 30 game that I was playing this afternoon.
Well, sometimes some tough 30 games you'll almost never see a flop because the guy in the cutoff seat or on the button
Right.
will always take a shot at those blinds. In a 30 game, especially, the blinds are $50.
You know, Dave, it's funny that you were having this conversation with me about how as you do more and more of this show and play more live No Limit Hold'em, and you actually get to play a little more live No Limit Hold'em because you work at night, where I actually have to help the 30 and the 20 limit games in the afternoon.
Right.
About how much you kind of dislike limit now, and now more, putting your attention towards no limit.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
don't
think
want to
your
say...
advantage is just so much greater. I think that's
Yeah.
what you're realizing, right?
I don't want to say, I mean, obviously, I made a living the last year and a half playing Limit Hold'em, and I
Right.
do enjoy Limit Hold'em. I think it's a great game. I do think you can make moves in it. Some people say you can't make moves, you just got to, get good cards. I disagree completely.
Pot was limped around here. Ace 9-9.
And nobody has anything here.
Well, Sylvester's going to come out and looks like he's going to bet here with the Jack 9.
I don't think anybody can call. Jack 9. Jack 10, you mean?
Jack 10, yeah.
Yeah. Takes down. Nice bet. So I do like Limit Hold'em. It's a good game. But if I have a choice, I just find there are worse players. Obviously there are bad players everywhere. But I find my advantage, like you were saying, my advantage in No Limit is so huge. And I think the future is No Limit Hold'em. So I want to really hone my game there. And that's where I've been paying attention, especially the last 6 weeks to 2 months. I actually played over the weekend on my days off. You and I both work Monday through Friday. I actually played on Saturday and Sunday, and I found a couple of 10-20 no-limit hold'em games.
Pocket 10's here for seat 8. He was small on the button, and he's going to raise it up there. That's Russ.
Funny enough, it was interesting.
Wow, Rick is going to call here. Oh, I guess he's in the big blind. He's got Queen 10 offsuit.
He's in the big blind?
Yeah, I think it was small, big, I
Oh, okay.
believe.
So the small blind's on the button.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, still, though.
Four-way action. 9-5-4 here, and Russ has got the overpair. Seat 8.
Nice flop for 10s.
He's going to bet.
Pretty straightforward there.
And Rick is not going to chase. But look at Vince. He's going to call with pocket deuces. Does he think his hand is good right now?
Well, if you put Russ on like ace-jack, ace-queen,
Turns a 5.
that's the problem sometimes when you get stubborn with deuces and 3s and 4s. You don't know where you're at.
Vince has checked blind here again. The river's a 4, and why not just bet it here again? Wow, he didn't bet with 10s there.
Well,
maybe
the
he was
deuces...
maybe he was scared about the 4. The deuces got counterfeit.
Yeah, they don't even play.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's your best 5 cards, so 5s and 4s with a 9 kicker would be his hand. Funny enough, actually, I played on my off days, and I played No Limit Hold'em 10,
What's your
20
wife
blinds.
think about that?
She was okay with it, actually.
Oh.
I was talking to my wife about possibly doing more live by commentary and more playing on my own.
Right.
But the interesting thing was, I got recognized by a lot of people that I did not know, that I hadn't recognized as commentator for Live at the Bike.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I have to go through that, every day. Walking around a grocery store.
5 players.
Signing autographs.
Right around Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a hassle, isn't it, for you?
4-way action. I was in the tanning salon the other day.
Well, as the good-looking one in the booth,
Right, I
you
would
really do
assume.
get most of the attention.
Right. Jack 8-3 here on the flop. And we had a bet here, I believe, by Michael. And Eric's pretty straightforward here. He's going to raise with the Queen Jack.
Yeah, I mean, it's a straightforward play there.
Yeah. And he's going to take it down. And this guy is yet another kind of tight guy, Dave, in the 8-16 game, I believe. He's been on the show before.
And I got to be honest, see, sometimes people love games where people are calling you down. I actually don't mind a game like this at all, because I find that I can be one of the most aggressive players at the table, yet still know where everybody's at.
Not to be one that is promoting any type of site, but I actually, what I do now, Dave, I play a lot of 5-10 limit online on Absolute, where people say, boy, the games are so tough and they're so rock solid. Well, all you need is one guy that is really loose. And I don't actually mind those games. The games are much tougher than the live games. You know that people are going to be making moves, but I do fairly well with them. And, of course, the bonuses and the rakeback is nice, too.
Yeah,
That said, out the door to Party Poker. I don't even play on the site anymore. If I can't get money back, I don't play on the site. I don't think the games are that good.
Right.
If I can make an extra 1 to 1.5 big bets per 100 hands through bonuses and rakeback, the games at Party aren't going to be that much better.
No, without a doubt.
Now,
It's a no-brainer.
Pot is raised here, I believe, by
Seat
Vince
two,
out of the
Vince,
blind with ace-8 of clubs. And look, he's going to check the flop. He didn't hit it. He gets checked around. Well, now he's got the nut flush draw, 5 of clubs, and he's going to come out and bet now.
Michael's picked up a pair here.
Well, he has the flush draw, too, as he did on the flop, but he's going to call. He's got the diamond draw.
And you wonder, is Michael going to continue to call if he misses?
2 players.
Remember the guy... Well, there's the diamond.
Right. Obviously, we're not going to see the answer to that. But I was just curious. I mean, think about
But
it.
look at this, though. Vince made a straight at the end. I believe. Oh, no, actually, he didn't. I'm sorry. I thought that was a 6 there on the turn. He just missed everything, and he folds here to a raise.
Yeah, Michael raised and he just throws. It's interesting. I would have been curious, had he missed and not make the diamonds, and Vince bets, does Michael call a pair of 5s?
Well, again, I mean, what do you put the guy on? Was he slow playing a monster? He raised pre-flop and then checked the flop.
Right, which is kind of odd. You almost put him on ace, queen, or ace, king.
Or would he do something like that with pocket 10s?
Possibly.
And look at this. We got a member of the B team at the table there, Dave. It's Nicole.
Oh, at the old Hideaway Chalet.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. 5 players.
All-night bash.
5-way action here. We got an ace-queen over there in seat 1. I believe he was the original pre-flop raiser. 8-6-3, a couple diamonds. And it looks like Vince has got top pair here in seat 2. And he's going to raise.
3 players.
And Garland is going to call over there with Jack 8. And Garland actually has the best hand here with Jack 8. The turn's a 3. We're 3-way. We got Jack 8, King 9, and 8-9 in the hand. I don't really know what King 9 is doing in the hand. Garland check calls here, and the river's a 10. And Garland's kicker's going to play. Vince actually bet the whole way, though, Dave, with top pair. But
Yep.
the Jack 9 is good.
Jack kicker.
2 pair there, 8s and 3s with the Jack kicker. Garland came out and bet right away, got a caller in between, and the guy in the late position raised. Now, with 8 and 9 there, and I've got a solid player calling me all the way, the river's a 10. If he checks me, I'm probably just going to check right behind
Yeah.
a guy like Garland. Would you bet there with 8 and 9?
Not in position, no.
No.
Out of position, I might. Because I figure if he's a solid player and I check to him, I'm going to have to call a bet anyway.
Right.
Might as well do better.
Raise it.
Russell's going to raise here. Pocket 9s.
So tempting, so tempting.
Look at that. Garland folds the ace-jack offsuit in the small blind there, Dave.
What do you
That
think?
is that ace-jack offsuit, and that is definitely a move that I will do. Now, Nicole's going to call with a suited connector. Heads up. She's in top pair. Russ is going to bet. And Nicole looks like she just check-called there with top pair. Turns a 10. Nicole checks.
Russ
Russell's going to
continues,
bet.
yeah.
Nicole calls. River's a queen. This might just go check here. No, he's going to bet again. And she's going to call. She called him all the way there at the pair of 7s.
I got this is the kind of table I love.
High 2 overs.
Table where you pretty much know everybody's at.
Yeah. And it's one of these situations sometimes, again, where I sometimes had found myself, Dave, calling ace-jack offsuit in the small blind. But if I'm not going to call ace-jack offsuit out in the field in late position to an early position raiser, why on earth would I call it to an early position raiser in the small blind?
Yeah. You don't
Just because I already have 2 chips invested, it doesn't make any sense.
Right. You got to that money in there is
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
Don't even think of it.
Eric is in the big blind.
Some people love those suited connectors, and part of the reason I think is a lot of the books I'll talk about, suited connectors. I think suited connectors in limit hold'em are so overrated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, of course.
You see people in early
Oh.
position all the time limped in with 7-6,
Yeah.
8-9, 5-4. I think it's garbage.
I think there's the argument right there. You got an early position raiser. You are heads up. Do you make the call with 6-7 of spades, heads up in the big blind? I
And I gotta
personally do not if it's a really tough player and I know he's coming in with a premium holding.
Right, and I got to put in 6 chips.
Yeah. No. She was in the big blind.
So I got to put in 4 chips.
Yeah.
Depending on the player, I might call.
Yeah. Now we get in pocket nines here again. Garland's going to bring it in for a raise over there.
If it's a predictable player, I'll call because I'll know where he's at.
Jack 10 of spades is called. We are heads up here. Queen 6-3.
Garland's still good here.
And Ben came out in bed, I think. And Garland's going to raise. There's only one over there.
A little tester bet, see where he's at.
And Ben's going to 3-bet, and this might work for Garland. Might release the hand now. And it does work. And Ben makes a move, and Garland's actually been bluffed out of a couple of hands, probably because he's a pretty solid player.
You
and
can't
that's the
blame him there,
yeah.
though. Look at that.
Yeah.
I mean, what has Ben doing?
Right.
That's uncanny.
I mean, he hasn't played like that the whole time.
I mean, he had nothing. And once again, you see here, it's like, you can't make moves and limit hold him? Of course you can.
Button's going to move over there in seat 6. And seat 1 is going to come in. He's going to open here with King Jack offsuit. Excuse me, and that is Sylvester over there in seat 1. And he's going to take it down there.
Limit Hold'em. We're going to try to bring Limit Hold'em to you every Monday.
And we're obviously, we've been doing the 8 game, but we actually are going to attempt to do, at some point, the 20 or the 30. Dave, I almost got the 20 down today when they were starting the second game.
Yeah, oh, okay.
But there was just a little bit of lack of communication between myself and the floor man, and I just couldn't quite
get started there.
Yeah, I couldn't get quite started.
And to be honest with you, the interesting thing is anybody that's familiar with the Bicycle Casino, our live at the bike table is actually not near the 8-16 section.
Right.
So sometimes it becomes difficult if we lose one player to fill it up quick. But the 20-40 game is right around the corner, so it's really easy if we obviously lose a player or two.
And again, it's not necessarily that people don't want to see their cards shown. It's just they don't want to move when a game is started. People are creatures of habit. I always feel if we just get the game started on the table, they don't care.
Of course.
Yeah.
Definitely.
3-way action here. We had a raise by, I believe, seat number 4 with King-Queen. But Vince has got the best hand here with pocket 8s. And Sylvester, I think, came out and bet with ace-9, and Vince raised. Seat 4 quickly releases his hand, but Sylvester calls with the ace-9 and turns a 6. Vince bets again here. And now Sylvester is either. Seems like Sylvester he's played it pretty much straight up, Dave.
Yeah, I've only seen him a couple of times. I saw him on that 3-500 game once,
Right.
where he really was a bluffing machine.
Right.
But yeah, he's played it pretty straightforward here.
We can't really be a bluffing machine and limit hold'em.
Also said 8-16.
Right. Button moves over there to seat number 8. That's Russ. And again, this is a pretty tough lineup for an 8-16 hold'em game.
You say tough?
Tough. Well, what I mean by that is it might
I'd say it's tight. I don't think it's tough.
Well, it might be not necessarily the best table that I would pick for an
Really?
8-16 compared to some of the other tables. See, you and I like the wild games.
Yeah.
I like everybody limping in. I like jamming pots and stuff like that. What I think is the best hand.
It's funny. I mean, wild games, obviously, you can win a lot of money. But a wild game, you've always got to be content winning one pot an hour.
Right.
One big, huge pot an hour.
Right.
A game like this, though, if you play aggressive, good poker, you can almost control this table. This is actually the perfect, for me, this is the perfect kind of line.
Perfect setup.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Looks like Nebbiolo on the button's got King Jack suited.
Yeah, now seat 6 here, Eric's
in
got
with
King
King
Queen.
Queen.
Now limping in late position with King Queen, I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I would definitely open raise there for sure.
Without a doubt.
So Rick raises, but he's dominated. He doesn't know it, though.
Well, he figures anybody has a better hand. King Jack suited on the button is not a bad hand.
4-way action here. Rick is the raiser on the button. Ace 10-5 here, and Ace 4 of diamonds, and seat 2 is out flopped him.
Yeah.
But you'd imagine that Rick is going to bet, and he does on the button. Let's see what Vince does. He just calls.
Now, it's not really a coordinated board here, so at this point, if you got King Jack, you got to know you're dead.
Well, Eric's going to call with a gut shot.
Yeah.
Turn is a queen.
Wow, and Rick's hit a straight.
Wow. Yep, he's got it right off there.
Now, Vince doesn't have much of a hand here. Ace Rag is pretty much of a garbage hand.
Yeah.
Especially Especially now, what can you beat? You know, if Rick keeps betting, what can he really beat?
And we had a bet there by Vince. He came in bet, and Rick's going to raise here with the nuts.
I gotta tell you, I like the bet by Vince. He bets to see where he's at. He doesn't want to give a free card.
Yeah, but you know he's not going to. Is he going to fold? Wow, and he folded. He turned his cards up there, Dave, and he folded.
Yeah, see, I like the play by Vince there.
Yeah.
Why not bet into him, see where you're at instead of check and then call, check and call. Bet into him, see where you're at, and he actually saves a bet this way. Because Rick's not going to raise without a made hand there.
He's probably not going to even raise with ace-king there.
No.
No.
Ace queen, at minimum, he's got to have his ace queen probably.
Yeah.
No.
Button moves over to seat 1.
Gentleman's raised before the flop, and he's raising me. You know what I'm saying? 3 bets.
And there are actually a couple of people are questioning his fold of an ace, and he's trying to defend himself. He goes, come on, this guy raised pre-flop,
Right.
then bets, and then raises on the turn. He's got to have
Well,
something.
look at his move now. Rick raised with ace-king, and Vince 3-bet, and Rick's going to cap with ace-king. Vince 3-bet out of the blind with ace-3 of diamonds, and Rick caps it.
I remember a 6-bet.
Wow, nut flush for Vince, and Rick's flopped the nut straight. Queen
Wow.
10 jack.
And this could get ugly.
Bet, raise, re-raise, 3 bets. Rick's going to cap it.
And it's unlimited here. We're heads up here, folks.
Vince has got the nuts here.
And I say, why not 5-bet it here if you're Vince? And I love the way Vince has played
Vince
this
is
hand.
he's playing it hard here, and Rick calls.
And look at Vince and Rick here. This is a great showing of poker.
Oh, the diamond's going to kill Vince. He kills all his action here.
Yeah. And can Rick just throw that hand away now?
Turns a 9 of diamonds. Or turns an 8 of diamonds. And actually, Vince no longer has the nuts here, Dave.
No, right. The 9 of
And
diamonds would
Rick
be the
is
nuts.
going to call. He's drawing dead.
Sorry, King 9 of diamonds would actually be the nuts.
And he's going to bet blind here. River's a king. Wow. And Rick is thinking, well, pot is, I mean,
But he called on the turn. If you're going to call
Yeah.
on the turn, you got why call on the turn?
6
Oh,
6
man.
bets on the flop. He makes the call. And I love the way that Vince really played that hand. He jammed it big, and Rick, you knew Rick had ace-king Dave there. Or maybe top set.
I got to tell
Maybe
you,
top set.
I love the way Vince played that hand.
Yeah.
Look at the last 2 hands. Last 2 hands, Vince had ace 3 and ace 4 of diamonds. Both times he hits something. You know,
Right.
the first time obviously he's a pair of aces, but the first time Rick gets lucky on him. And I want to say that Vince lost a minimum on that hand, but this time he wins a maximum against Rick.
And actually, for all you nitpickers out there, Vince actually didn't flop the nuts. King 9, like you said, would have been the nuts. The 8 didn't matter on the turn.
Right.
But I don't think that Rick is capping and 3-betting, pre-flop with King 9 of diamonds. I don't think we really have much to worry about for Vince there with that hand. Except maybe the board pairing, like I said.
Yeah, board pairing is
Yeah.
always a scary thing.
4-way action here. Ace Jack 6. Seat 8's got Ace 10. And he's going to bet.
But sometimes people always want to slow play things, and that's a perfect example of why not to. He got 5 bets in on the flop.
Look at this, been called, and he's hit 2 pair, but Russ has got 2 bigger pair. Russ is going to bet here, and Ben is going to raise. And again, right here with Ace 10, you can't really even re-raise, Dave, I don't think. I think you just kind of slide into call mode here.
Well, you got to start thinking, okay, what could this guy have? And you
Right.
go, okay, I've got ace 10. Does this guy have a set of jacks? Does he have a set of sixes?
But he's gonna re-raise. Wow.
Now, you see, he just called me. Okay, so I don't put him on king queen now.
River's a 6.
I mean, this might be one of those times where you check it down, though. Yeah.
Well, that's what he did do. He did check it down there.
Yeah, once in a while, and you and I were talking about this, once in a while, you'll 3-bet it there. You'll raise it to
Right.
get the free showdown.
Right.
Yes, it does.
Because unless he has the absolute nuts, he's not going to bet again. And if you happen to make the nuts, it's almost a win-win situation. Because if he doesn't have the nuts, he can't bet into you. And if you actually improve your hand, you can still bet it again.
Yeah, it's like one of those times when sometimes maybe you have second pair,
Yeah.
and it's kind of a rag board, and the guy fires into you. He raised pre-flop, fires you, the flop you just called. Turn comes, he fires again. You could raise there with the intention of just checking the river down. If he's got an overpair, so be it. But you're going to call the other 2 bets anyways.
Right.
So if you raise, you might get just overcards to throw it away, where else he might spike it.
Exactly.
On the river.
Basically, you're winning this. You're either losing the same exact money you would have lost,
Right.
and you have a slight chance of winning more money.
Right. Or you have a chance that he's going to fold if he has nothing.
Hey, there's always a
the
chance,
point.
right.
Because in limit, the guy bets and you just call. You're allowing him to. I mean, he's bet, so it's cost him that money, but it's only cost him that one bet to get a showdown to the river if he doesn't have a hand. Even
Right.
from early, you know?
I mean, they're also. I mean, I'll use that same play in stud as well, stud or stud high low, where if I have a scary board and I have position on the player, meaning he's going to have to bet first on the next round probably. What I'll do is sometimes I'll raise with my scary board, even if I'm on a draw, and I'll take the free card if I don't hit, and if I do hit, well then I'll bet it.
Going to take a look at another chip count here. Well, Ben, I think he's moved up. And Sylvester, was he up at 6:30 in the beginning of the show? He's down a little bit there. And I think Garland's up a little bit, Dave. I want to say. We'll try to get, next time we do a chip count, we'll try to figure out where those people started at.
Yeah.
We got a raise
Now, obviously,
here.
it's a cash game, obviously people can rebuy, so it's difficult for us sometimes to keep track.
Raise here by seat 7. He's got pocket 7s, and looks like Michael SP Surfing there is going to 3-bet with queens. And look at the blind, Dave. He's going to call 3-bets cold here with ace 9 of clubs.
Really? Wow.
Eric. 3-way action.
Well, that's not a bad flop for Michael. You don't want to see one king, but 2 kings makes you feel a little bit better.
Well, how about
here.
pocket 7s?
It's not a terrible flop for 7s either.
And everybody checked. Wow, turns to 6. Michael didn't bet with queens there.
I got to tell you, if you're 7s here, you got to think you're good.
And Ben's going to come out and bet. Michael's
And
just
do you
gonna
raise
call.
if you're Michael? No. Wow. Played it really passive on the button with
Yeah.
queens, not to bet that. And he had the queen of hearts in his hand.
River's a 5.
And he checks it down.
And he checked it down. Wow, who's gonna check a king there to you on the river?
Yeah.
Maybe he just figured if I bet, there's no way I can get called. So I'm
Yeah,
just
but
gonna check it down.
we know that's not right.
No,
though.
no.
He might even got called by ace high. Who knows?
Right.
And Michael really gave up at least, I would say, the small bet on the flop, plus the bet on the river, where he just didn't make any money. He's got to play that a little bit harder than that.
Button's gonna move over here to seat 4.
He played that about as passive as he could have played it.
Absolutely. Fold here. And it looks like we just got a limper and the blind. I don't even think the small blind's in there. Eric's going to bet here with queen 5. It's open-ended, and Vince is going to get rid of it. I mean, you know, the funniest thing, Dave, is you told me out in the plaza that you still think the Patriots are only the 4th or 5th best team in the AFC.
I do.
Oh, God. And I
I
guess
do.
the Jets are like the 7th or 8th best team, right?
Well, the Jets are probably the 31st best team in the whole NFL right now. The only team worse than the Jets right now, the 49ers.
How about the Houston?
Texans are much better than the Jets.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Not even close.
Just their record doesn't speak of it.
Yeah, I mean, but the Texans almost have, they've won last week, and they've almost won like 3 of the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
They just keep blowing it. The Jets are awful.
We got a raise here by seat 4, King Jack.
Called by ace 10.
Ace 10 offsuit. That's a big-time trouble hand, Dave. I definitely do not call that to a raise. Possible 3-bet against the right opponent, but ace 10 off. He does have the best hand, though.
Yeah, if I'm in position, sometimes I can make the call, but... Well, Garland checked, and Eric bet.
Yeah.
Garland calls with king high.
Turns a deuce.
I gotta tell you, if Eric stays aggressive here, I think he can take this down.
And the river here is a jack.
And he let him get there. You wonder if Garland had checked and Eric bet that turn,
Right.
you wonder if he would have just taken it down right there and then.
Garland's going to take it down. Well, and again, actually, you know what? Eric was in the small blind there, Dave, so I guess he might have been thinking, a little bit of a blind defense with ace 10, but, I'd definitely be more apt to 3-bet there, take control of the hand. The Patriots just dominated Tampa Bay.
Yeah, the problem is that they keep beating a bunch of teams that aren't very good.
The funniest,
And they get beaten by teams that are very good.
the funniest thing was that when they had that highlight clip of the Jets' longest pass of the season, Bruce Bollinger, he looked like he was like, he looks like a ballerina as opposed to a quarterback Dave, when he threw that pass. We had a raise here by seat 2 with ace-jack. 3 bets by Garland with pocket 9s. And Nicole's got ace-king. She's going to call. King-queen suited in the small blind's going to call. Wow. We got 3 bets times 4-way action.
Now, obviously, ace-king, I think you can call there. But the king-queen,
Yeah, out of position. 3
out of
bets.
position, king-queen. Now, it is suited, which makes it a little more interesting.
Well, he's flops top 2 pair.
What do I know?
Let's see how he plays it. It got checked to Nicole, and now what is he going to do?
Well, I'd imagine
Check
we'll
raise.
raise here.
He just calls. I mean, that's why I would more be apt to just bet out Dave right away on that flop.
Bet out, get
Yeah.
raised, and then 3-bet it.
Turn is a 7, and Vince is in there with the ace-jack. He's got a gut shot.
And this is the problem here. What's he going to do now? Did he bet?
Actually, and I believe that Nicole has bet, and now Ross is going to raise. And it would be interesting to see if Nicole can actually get away from this hand.
Now, this was 3-bet before the flop, so you got to start looking at it going, what might my opponent have that's going to check
Who is
raise?
actually going to check raise here with ace-king, but she calls anyways. And she needs an ace.
Yep.
Ace only. And the river's a 5.
Oh, good.
King-queen is good.
Kings and queens.
Now, I happen to like king-queen suited, obviously, a lot better than unsuited.
Right.
But you can't get caught up with the fact that, oh, it's suited. I don't really care that much.
Again, and you're calling from the blinds, which means you are out of position. The rest of the hand. He was in first position there. He's in the small blind.
So many high cards.
But anyways, do you know the pass I'm talking about? When he passed it to the tight
Yeah,
end?
Doug Jolly.
He's like, kind of like dancing, and he kind of lobs it
Oh,
up.
will you
It
stop
was a
making... Oh, come on.
joke.
Now. I'm already down. That team sucks, okay? Got to kick me while I'm
It just
down?
goes to show you, I actually did a little research on Bruce Bollinger. I think he went to, Wisconsin?
Yes.
He was like a standout quarterback. It just goes to show you the level.
For
that the
Wisconsin, though,
Right.
Wisconsin has a running offense in the Big Ten.
It just
They throw the ball like 6 times a game.
It just goes to show you that in the NFL how much better the competition is than in
You
college.
got to look at what offense you're playing. If you're a quarterback in the Pac-10, it's a lot different than being a quarterback in the Big Ten, especially Wisconsin.
Well, we got a raise here by Garland, pocket Jackson. Nicole's got aces, and I assume she's going to 3-bet, and she does.
Yeah, pretty straightforward there.
Seat 4 and seat 5 here. Rick's got the old 10-6 offsuit in the small blind. He's going to fold. Yeah,
And is the big blind going to call this with pocket
pocket
fours?
4 is 3 bets. Oh, it looks like he is. And seat 2 is going to call with king 5 of hearts.
Wow.
And Garland caps it with jacks, figuring he's got the best hand here. So we got 4-way action.
Well, Nicole's got to
16
dodge a lot of things here.
small bets here. Queen 9-3. The aces are good so far. Let's
Yeah.
see how Nicole's going to play it. Garland's going to come out and bet.
She's going to raise.
Nicole's going to pop it up here.
You got to make somebody go for it. And Garland's got the same exact suits as Nicole does, by the way.
Turn is an 8. Garland's got a gut shot now. Nicole bets. Garland check calls. Garland can catch a jack or a 10 here, Dave. And the river's a 10.
Oh, that's a bad beat.
Yeah, you're kidding me.
And Garland's going to bet. And Nicole pays him off.
So ugly.
Oh, no.
She even said it. She goes, "Oh, you got to be kidding me."
What? Yeah, with that hand? Yeah.
The nature of limit hold'em, Dave.
Oh. Oh, that's bad. And obviously bad beats happen in no limit too, but sometimes it's just so much more frustrating in limit hold'em.
Sorry.
That's all. 205.
200 behind 5.
And that's the worst thing. She goes, he actually said, "I'm sorry." Just a little etiquette, folks. If you play on the internet and then you come to a brick and mortar casino
Yeah.
and you bad beat somebody, don't say "I'm sorry."
Right.
If you really feel sorry and you want to give them the chips back, go ahead. But don't say you're sorry because you're not really sorry.
200 behind 5. I hope so.
We had a raise here, I believe, by seat 4 there with pocket 5s. Garland's playing his rush. Nicole's going to smooth call with ace-jack suited. And actually, you know, it was Nicole that raised it up pre-flop, I believe.
Well, it's nice to see that she's still aggressive here. Garland has the best hand, actually, but he's going to lay it down. And that's a pretty easy lay down there. You look at that flop. That's why small pairs are really difficult to play in limit hold'em.
Right. Well, I think probably, I can imagine if Garland's a pretty solid limit player, he probably did open that for a raise. I can't imagine he would just limp in with pocket 5s there. Nicole smooth called with ace-jack. Garland checked, and Nicole bet.
Right.
And Garland folded. But again, kind of a little
But
bit...
the opposite play, though, is if Garland bets it, though.
Yeah, I mean,
what
why
does Nicole
would
do?
Well, she probably would have called at least once she had a gut shot. But again, we've seen Garland shut down when he hasn't hit anything. He's not really super aggressive post flop.
The only problem, I mean, the play with his jacks there, he's got to play the player a little bit. And that's Nicole 3-betting you, and then Nicole never shutting down.
Right. Five-way action limped around here.
It's a $40 pot, folks.
King, Queen, 5 with a couple of hearts. We got a King, Jack in there. And that is Nicole in seat 5. She's going to come out
and look at that Queen 5 for Vince. He's got 2 pairs. He's got bottom 2.
Wow.
And Nicole is in bad shape again.
And Vince just check called here, Dave. I mean, he's got top and bottom. It's not that good.
You
Turn
think
is an 8.
You think he's going to do a little check raise here right now?
I would imagine. And again, once again here, King Jack is no good. Can you lay it down here? But she immediately called him. The river's a 3. He's going to come out and bet. And she's going to call here again. Well, I guess she hasn't made the call yet.
It's the only thing I'm wondering. Now, she plays 8-16 a lot more than I do.
Right.
Do people really bluff that much in 8-16 where you can be calling your King Jack could ever be good in that spot?
I mean, in the 20 to 30 game, it's never good in that spot.
Right.
You know?
That's the only thing I'm wondering. I'm like, he check raised you on the turn.
The 20 to 30 game, the games are prone to having more moves.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And there are some people I will call down because I know they're, like let's say Peter, and anybody knows Peter here. Peter actually played in our no limit game a couple of nights. Big guy, bald guy, a little overweight, and he is prone to making moves.
Right.
If he were to check raise me, I might call him down with King Jack.
Right.
Raise it.
But I'm just wondering, Nicole's got a lot of
different,
experience in 8-16, and she's really calling down a lot of hands here, like the King Jack, and I just don't understand how she can think she's good there. Even when she had Ace King earlier, at best maybe she's chopping it up. But generally speaking, most people say if you are raised on the turn in a mid-limit game or a low-limit game like this, one pair is almost never good.
Well, sometimes, though, you can almost get pawn odds where you think that someone might be check-raising you with 2 pair and say I've got an overpair like aces. And I think, well, the pot is laying me the correct odds to either hit an ace or pair the board to give me a higher 2 pair for one bet.
Right,
so I might call, and then if I don't improve, fold.
I've seen that makes sense because if somebody else has 2 pair and you have an overpair like aces, well, you have 8 outs theoretically.
Right.
Which, okay, I have 8 outs going to the river if the pot's laying to the odds.
Right.
But what happens if I only have King Jack there and I think somebody else has 2 pair like Queen 5 in that case? Okay, well, basically I have to hit a King or a Jack.
Right.
No call, player.
And if the guy has King 5, well, then I have to only hit a Jack and I've only got 3 outs. I mean, the pot's going to be huge.
Well, that's why sometimes, like I said, I'll stay in there with overpairs because you're not necessarily sharing the card. But if you've got top pair and you get check raised, you're in a tough spot. Again, the guy could have a set, he could have anything, or he could have your top pair with 2 pair and you're really not you're now drawing to 3 outs.
Yeah. And with only 3 outs to go on the river, I mean, maybe you're going to hit that hand, 12, 13, 14% of the time? I mean, the pot's got to be laying you like 9 to 1, 8 to 1.
Garland's got pocket queens here in seat 4. He's going to raise it up here. Now, the big blind's got a King 5 suited.
And it's been, so he's definitely
going to defend.
Is that a hand you defend with in the big blind?
Well, when I flop King 10-5, I do. Get a check here. Garland's going to bet. Let's see what Ben does here.
Well, Ben's going to check raise. Pretty predictable.
Yeah, he does check raise.
And Garland calls. Ben's going to bet. And can Garland throw this away here? I mean, pretty easy.
I think he can.
I mean, think about it. It's also the ace of clubs. He's got.
Wow, Ben checked, and Garland bet, and Ben just called. I assume that Garland is going to check down here at the end. Yeah, he is.
How do you check King 5? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Very interesting.
Well, I mean, I guess he actually made one more bet there. I think if he bets, Garland might just throw it away, huh?
Looks like Garland's having a little salad there. Dave, you had a salad, didn't you, today before the show?
I did. I had a turkey sandwich and just a little side salad.
Side salad?
Little side salad.
You ever been to El Pollo Loco before?
I've never actually been there, but I've eaten their food numerous times. on a few sets that I've worked on.
Oh.
They seem to always bring in catering. They always seem to bring it in, yeah.
They have some nice chicken salads.
I got to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of their food, though. I like as far as like,
Boston Market better.
I like Kookaroo as my favorite.
Ken Berg.
Yeah, I gotta be
Owner
honest.
of
Out of all those
Kookaroo
like
Chicken.
chicken chains,
Kenny Rogers Roasters.
what are that? Is that a restaurant as well?
Yeah, it's a chicken.
I
You
don't
ever
know
seen
it.
that episode of Seinfeld?
Never saw it.
No.
Sorry.
Kenny Rogers Roasters.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one, but
Kookaroo
is
Chicken.
my
There's
favorite.
actually one right down the street from my house on Pico there, down by Overland.
I like their mac and cheese.
Ken Kookaroo Berg.
I love
Tell him
the
that
burnt
sometime.
sections.
Ace Queen of Spades here for Garland. He's probably going to raise it up here out of seat 4.
Raise it.
And there he goes. Nicole's got pocket 9s, and she's just going to call.
Yeah, see, I think that's a 3-bet spot with 9s, to be honest
It's a
with you.
3-bet or fold,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
3 bets.
And look at this. We got a 3-bet here by Sylvester with the suited connector. That's changing things up.
See, now she 3-bets, she probably gets Sylvester out of the hand.
Yeah.
You really want to leave people in there chasing you.
Well, Garland's hit top pair here.
I mean, some people can make the argument that you don't mind having a 6-5 in there if you have 9s.
Bet there by Garland. And Nicole folds. Definitely, again, against a tough player who I know is very tight, who raises an early position, and you are also in early position, I think you can throw away 9s to a raise.
You can throw them away or 3-bet, yeah.
Sometimes people say, throw away pocket 9s to a raise, automatic negative EV. Not necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, each situation depends.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that sticks their head in the book and never takes it out of it and just
Right.
goes, oh, this is positive EV, this is negative EV, this is exactly how it works.
Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't play that much poker.
Raise it.
Because every situation is dependent upon who you're playing against, what table you're at, what position you're in, so forth and so on.
Look at this. Seat 3's got pocket queens. He raises, but pocket kings over there for Russ on the button. He's going to 3-bet.
Well, he's a pretty solid player here, and let's see if he gets rid of...
And look at this, though. Eric, again, stuck in there with ace rag suited. Queen 10-10.
Oh, wow.
Full house here for Michael in seat 3. And
This
he's
is-
going to bet out here, Dave.
Good for him. And you'll probably get a
And
raise
Russ
here,
is gonna
and now
raise.
you can 3-bet. And that's what you're hoping to do. See, now
Well, I think he's probably trying to get a check raise in here on the turn.
the problem is, though, is now you do it. And now you got to wonder, is the guy going to
Well,
bet
that's a
the
pretty
turn?
safe card now. But now he's just going to come out and bet.
What was the point of that, then? Why not 3-bet it, then?
Well, I think he was trying to go for that reverse check raise, Dave. River is a king, and now
Oh.
Russ makes a full house.
Now, how far are they going to go on this one? How many raises are we going to go on this one here?
Well, you gotta 3-bet with queens here, don't you think?
I think so.
I think the guy thinking he's gonna slow playing a 10, but he just shuts down. He does not 3-bet with queens. That's amazing. I mean, I think I would have 3-bet with queens, and the guy caps it, then I shut down. Don't you think?
I might even go one more.
Really?
Yeah, I'm only losing to what? I'm losing the pocket 10s,
Right.
and I'm losing the kings. I almost put the guy on a 10. You know, I don't know. I mean, it depends on the player. Now, Russ is a pretty solid player, but, man, I might even go 5-bets on that. I mean, I got the queens full. But, I mean, I got to tell you, I don't understand the point of, okay, you have queens full, you bet right out, the guy raises, then you just smooth call, and then you bet the turn. Why not 3-bet it then?
Right.
Why not 3-bet it and then bet the turn?
Raise it. Better have it in there.
Got a raise here from Eric. Jack 10 offsuit.
Seat 6 racer.
Okay, I thought.
And we got a call here by Russ. He's got ace jack offsuit.
I mean, I got to say, I mean, the one thing about Michael's play in seat 3, obviously SP surfing on 2+2, he lost less money than I would have on that hand, and you.
Eric's going to bet out here. The flop comes 10-10 deuce, and both players got trip 10s. Vince just calls.
Raise.
No, he's actually going to check raise here on the flop with Jack 10.
It's high, no good.
Now, this is a definite time where I call, and then now I pop it and turn in position if I'm Eric.
Yeah.
Turns a king.
Well, now he's got
the
a jack
heart.
of hearts. He's free rolling.
Vince is going to bet. Wow. And Eric just calls.
Wow.
River is a queen. And this one's going to get chopped up, folks.
And he's just going to call. And that's
Well-
strange. He almost played it like a no-limit game.
Well, you know what, though? You know, sometimes I tend to, I might do that. It's very difficult to put somebody on a 10 in that spot when you have a 10.
Right.
And it's like you tell yourself, well, I'm going to smooth call here on the flop, and unless a heart comes on the turn, I'm going to raise.
Okay.
Well, then all of a sudden now a heart comes. So maybe
Right.
check raise with a flush draw.
So you shut down.
Yeah.
I understand that. Okay. I mean, it's funny. In no-limit hold'em, trips, and when I say trips, is the board pairs, and you have that obviously, is really a trap hand, especially like Jack 10. The
Right.
flop comes out 10-10 deuce. You got to be careful there because you're either going to lose a big pot or probably win a small one.
Right.
Make him open his hand.
But in limit hold'em, you can take more heat obviously because you can't lose that much
You know,
money.
that happens.
Yeah, I know.
That's why, I bet it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So
put
you-
him.
I put him on your
right.
screen. I was like,
There's
okay.
no ace. You put him on ace queen. Right. But I
really didn't think
And just in response to Gobo Boy,
Yeah.
and he was talking about on the hand where Nicole had King Jack and the other player had Queen 5. Obviously, she had 8 outs also, but that's only if she knows that
That
he
he
has
had
Queen
Queen
5.
5, right.
If he's got King 5,
Right.
she's in really bad shape.
Queen 9-8 here. It was limped around. We got a gut shot over there from Vince in seat 2. And Eric's going to come out and bet here. He's got an open-ended straight draw, and Vince calls. Now, here's another classic example, Dave. I probably wouldn't call with King 10 in a limped pot here with that type of board. There's just not enough money in there. Well, he picks up an open-ended straight draw, and now he calls again. Eric bets. And the river here's a queen, and a pair of sevens was good.
Yeah.
open up.
And look at Vince put out his chips like he's going to make the call, Dave. What
That's
we
cla-
say
classic-
about that tell.
Yeah, clear tell there.
Yeah.
And obviously, just to reference one more, that's back to Gobo Boy on 2+2. And one of the reasons why you'd always call with an overpair in that case, if the pot was laying you enough money, is because if the board pairs, you're probably, you don't know which pair, obviously, but you definitely have 8 outs.
Oh, that's mine. I love
But if your
it.
opponent has top pair or shares your pair at all, you're in really bad shape. You could have only 3 outs.
And there's Brian. He's leaving the box. Got a new dealer coming in. And the button moves over here to seat 2.
It's also interesting sometimes in a hand like that where Nicole had King Jack and the other guy had Queen 5, and let's say you even determine the fact that the guy has smaller 2 pair and that you have 8 outs.
Right.
Are you calling the check raise and you're then going to fold if you don't hit? Or are you calling on the check raise and then you're going to call again? So basically you've lost 2 big bets now with just 1 pair and a jack kicker.
Sylvester's going to bring this one in for a race. He's got ace rag, ace 4 in the cutoff.
3 players.
Now, small line calls with King 10 and Garland's in there with King Queen. Again, Dave, another hand that I probably wouldn't call in the small blind with unless I was going to 3-bet King 10.
Yeah, King Queen in a big blind, I think sometimes
Oh, yeah.
is too big to fold,
Oh,
especially when
absolutely.
it's a late position raiser. King Queen is often the best hand.
Right. And look at this. Sylvester bets. Garland calls. Sylvester's going to bet again. He's got the pair of 4s. And then Garland's out of there.
Well, it's a power of position there. Sylvester had a pair, but he actually didn't even need a pair.
But it just took me so long to realize if I'm not going to call with ace jack offsuit, king 10 offsuit, king queen offsuit to a raise when I'm in late position, why on earth would I call it in the small blind to a raise?
Yeah.
Right?
People get caught up all the time. It's a game of ego. They go, it's my blind. I've got to defend my blinds. I don't want people to think they can always steal my blinds. Go ahead, steal my blinds. I don't care. Because when I have a real hand, I'm going to 3-bet you. And I'm going to take it all.
Rick's going to come in here with pocket 6s.
Leave your ego at the door when you're playing poker.
Plus I'm eating.
And he's going to take down the blinds there.
I'm trying to eat.
Everybody tightens up when they're eating.
And Rick is eating, Dave. I swear to God, every single time he's here, he's eating the chicken kebab. Take a look over there on the left-hand side of the screen. He's got the yogurt and the hummus and the Persian rice, and there it is.
My favorite dish.
His favorite dish, he's saying, and the lavish bread. That flat, unleavened bread.
Raise it.
We get a raise here in seat 8 here. Ace-King offsuit. And it looks like he's going to take it down. If anyone can see Dave Tuckman in the booth here, he keeps flipping back to the NFL.com looking at the stats. You don't seem too happy. Are you losing your fantasy matchup tonight?
I'm in the playoffs in my stinking thing. I got the best team all year, and I got to tell you, Todd Heap. I'm going to lose to goddamn Todd Heap. Oh, so pissed off. Friggin' Baltimore. Kyle Boulder's got like 4 touchdown passes the entire season, and tonight he's got 3. I swear I'm sick.
We got an ace-queen over here in seat 3.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I guess, I had the best team all year. I'm the number 1 seed, and I'm going to lose in the semifinals now and finish up only third place money. First place money is pretty good, you know?
Raise here by SP surfing there, Michael and C3. And Nicole's got pocket jack. She's going to 3-bet.
Maybe I'll call 3 bets. Alright. That was the absolute phone with 2 bets.
Wow, Vince is going to call cold 2 more bets, Dave, with Jack 9. Michael's in there with Ace Queen. So Nicole's the 3-better. Here we go to the flop. King Deuce 5. That is not. And look at Vince just opened folds.
You got the king, Cole.
Michael checks. That's a horrible flop for Ace Queen as well, Dave. King Deuce 5. It's not really what you want to see. Now, obviously, high cards and limit hold'em have a lot more value than, I think, easily dominated high cards and no limit hold'em. What I mean is that Ace Jack and Ace Queen, those are the sucker hands and no limit hold'em. But, you know, in this game, they're pretty good holdings.
To me, honestly, if you were to play limit hold'em and you were to only play, you know, pairs above 8 and picture cards or aces, you know, you would do fine in limit hold'em.
Right.
In no limit hold'em, though, you've obviously King Jack, King Queen. Those hands are really very little value.
Right.
You know, and obviously small suited hand cards have a lot more value.
Garland's going to raise here. He's got Ace King. We've got 2 limpers in front, Jack 10 suited and Jack 10 offsuit. And the blind is in here with 6-10 of hearts. So here we go. 8 small bets in the pot. 9 Deuce 5. Vince has got a flush draw and overcards there with the Jack 10.
Garland's still got the best hand, though, huh?
And Vince just goes and bets here, and let's see how Garland's going to play it. He's going to raise with the Ace King.
There you go. Find out where he's at here. He's got the Ace of Clubs also, which
And
makes
Vince
it...
3-bets. So if Vince bets in here on the turn, Garland probably... Well, there's the club, but Garland's got the Ace of Clubs in his hand.
Yep, and another club here he needs.
Vince bets, Garland calls. Rivers is 7. Vince bets again here. Garland does not pay him off.
A lot of people that really bang flush draws. It's as if they think they're always going to make them. And obviously, when you flop a flush draw, you flop 4 cards to a flush. You're only going to make that flush like 1 out of 3 times.
Right.
But people bang them like it's like just guaranteed.
Well, the thing also that we see that's so stupid sometimes in this game is like driving, really jamming it, but you're actually driving people out when all you have is a pure draw. Like, say, a check raise 3-bet. A guy bets, the button raises, and now you're going to 3-bet, and there are 4 people next to you.
Out of position,
too. Are you
too.
crazy? We got pocket aces here in seat 1.
Yeah, you're driving out the exact people that you need in the
Right.
pot to make the odds
Right.
worthwhile for you.
Sylvester there has got aces. He's going to take it down.
I'm getting this from 2+2 that Russ McGinley just lost by got beat by runner quads. Very exciting.
Yes.
Yes. We like to keep the show as interactive as possible, folks. Please email us at live@thebike.com, or you can join us at 2+2.
Yeah, Dave,
on a
we
live
haven't
thread.
gotten a lot of emails tonight. Live@thebike.com again.
Let us know what's going on.
And, you know, I saw Yosh in the house. And again, Phil Locke is still tentatively scheduled to be on the show on Wednesday.
Ooh, the Unabomber, huh?
Keep all that in mind.
Very cool. Wonder if he will bring his lovely girlfriend.
Maybe. King, Queen, Deuce here.
Michael D now, he should, he likes around.
Turns another king.
And Michael D still, it's like Michael needs something to really bet this, doesn't he?
Well, now look at that top pair of pairs. So Rick is going to come out and bet here as a steal, figuring no one's got a king.
Well, it's a good play by him. And he's going to take it down here.
Yeah, there it is.
Classic play.
I have actually never seen Rick show his cards. He does it very, very rarely. Will he ever show? And I played with him for a long time back in the early part of the year.
Yeah, I actually got mad at myself. I was playing No Limit the other day, and I was showing my cards way too often. I tried to. I caught myself, and don't want to do that as much. Obviously, why give out free information?
Sorry, just sleeping over here.
Yes, I'm just a little frustrated here. Obviously, my opponent had Todd Heap. Now, Todd Heap has 693 yards and like 3 touchdowns the entire season. And then tonight, he's got 110 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's a receiver.
He's a friggin' tight end. He's not even a receiver.
Oh, he's tight end. Queen 10-4 here. It looks like Russ has got king queen. It's the best hand. He's going to bet. And Vince calls here with king 4.
Yeah, this is one of those times
Vince
where...
is there with pocket deuces.
Yeah, the funniest thing is king 4 now. I mean, if he catches this king, he's dead.
Turns a queen. Now Russ has got trips. And will this make it more apt that other people are going to call thinking that the guy doesn't have a queen?
The problem is, though, they can't beat a 10 either. You know what I mean? If the guy was betting ace 10, you can't beat that either now. And Vince is drawing dead.
Well, and both players fold.
Yeah. And that's really where you've got to, if you want to try to like look for the leaks in your game, it's a flop like that calling with king 4. Because what will happen is once in a while you'll get lucky, and I say lucky in quotes, and you'll catch your king. And then what do you do?
Right. And again, yesterday, I mean, just goes to show you how much of a loser Drew Bledsoe really is, Dave. That guy will never win anything.
Yeah, he looked like a loser yesterday, I got to tell you. I got to agree with you on that one. He looked terrible.
Believe me, people from New England know. He's just so slow and, like, flat-footed in the pocket. Got a raise here by seat 6, ace-queen offsuit. Pocket 4s there is going to call. I don't necessarily know if I make that call, like, 2 bets cold here, Dave, as opposed to 3 betting if there's no one else in the hand. Here we go to the flop, ace, 7, 8. Well, Eric and Michael both have aces, and Michael's going to come out and bet here with the ace 10. He called in the big blind. Eric raises, pretty straightforward. Russ is out of there. And Michael's probably going to go into check call mode here. Problem with limit hold'em here, Dave, is could you ever get away from ace 10 now that you have top pair here? I mean, it's just...
Well, now he's got to draw as well.
Of course now he's got to draw, but river's an 8. I mean, it's just sometimes it's like...
And I love the betting by Eric. Eric
course.
continues to bet and continues to bet and gets paid the entire way by Michael. And that's the problem with playing a weak ace.
Yep. And Michael's actually down quite a bit here. I don't know where he started with at the beginning of the night, but he doesn't have much chips left in front of him.
Now, he's made a couple of... He hasn't made as much money as he should have on some of his big hands. And obviously, well, a couple of bad beats. I mean, he had pocket queens flopped a full house.
Right.
And lost to a 2-outer on the river.
Right. But again, actually, he lost the minimum on that hand.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
It's incredible.
Now, it's interesting, calling with pocket 4s. Now, I know you can run those simulations on a computer and see how you'll do.
Right.
But I can tell you, hands-on, when I first started playing Limit Hold'em, I would keep track of all the hands I would play. And I'll get to that right after this hand.
Nicole raised with pocket queens, and seat 7's just going to smooth call with an ace-king. Ace-king offsuit.
Now, it's funny, ace-king offsuit, I don't mind. I actually would 3-bet that.
Because it doesn't necessarily work well multi-way.
Right, ace-king suited, sometimes I might
Yeah.
smooth call and keep people in.
Well, she's flopped the full house here. See how she plays it. She's going to bet right away. And Bin is going to call. And Bin might just call this the whole way, Dave,
Yep.
from what we've seen.
He might.
She bets again, and he calls again.
And that's why you bet your hand in
Right.
Limit Hold'em. Look at this.
There was a jack. She bets again.
She's trying to figure out, is there a way I can lose this hand?
Right.
She can't believe it. She actually won a hand. That's right, folks. Nicole has won a hand. But it's interesting. So I'd actually kept track, and it would probably seem like I was the most anal, loser at the poker table. But I literally had a pad of paper, and I would write down the hand that I had and how I did on it, whether I lost 8 chips or 9 chips, or. And I noticed that my biggest leak in my game at this point was small pocket pairs. That my pocket pairs between deuces and say 8s, I was getting killed on in Limit Hold'em.
Well, in a game like this, or usually at a game at this level, and actually I had this argument with Shirley last time we did a limit game, but I'm almost positive she's wrong on this one, Dave. Although she is right many times in arguments with me. If you've got a raiser and you have at least one caller, you can make a 2-bet cold call with any pocket pair to try to get your set.
You can make a 2-bet cold call.
Right. If you've got a raiser and a caller, and you're in late position.
So you're getting 2-to-1 on your money. A little bit over 2-to-1 with the blinds.
Well, let's get to this after this hand here. Sylvester's going to bet here. Nicole checked the flop, and Sylvester took control there, and he took it down.
Right.
You're basically, like in this game, you're calling $16 cold. And the chances of you hitting a set are obviously
But
you
the
know,
pot, how much is the pot? The pot is, say, $40, and you're calling $16?
But the point is that you think that you'll make at least 150 if you hit your set. Normally you will.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I like more than that. I don't think 2 is enough. Was that your stance or
No,
Charlie's
her stance was she just throws away any pocket pair below 8s, I think, regardless of who's in there.
Oh,
To
okay.
raise.
See, to me, I got to be honest with you. I don't think 2 callers is enough. Because you got to understand, people can say, well, you're going to hit your set 1 out of 5 times. No, that's if you see all 5 cards. You're only going to hit your set on the flop 1 out of 7.5 times.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But you're calling 16, so you're really trying to have a pot that's maybe $112, and the pot probably will get up to that level.
What's the average hand?
Maybe not that. If one guy's raising with ace king, another guy's calling with king queen. The flop comes out, you have 4s. The flop comes out 7-4 deuce.
No,
You know?
I know what you mean, but
Yeah.
that's usually the rule that I go for.
Yeah,
If
okay.
If there are 2 people that have called a raise. Excuse me, did I say 1 person or 2 people?
You said one person called one.
2 people. That's
So
usually
you're saying you're getting a little more than
yeah.
3 to 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably a little bit tighter than you in that respect. I'd probably want a 4th person in there, so I'm getting 4 to 1 on my money right away, plus implied odds.
3 players.
Because I want it to some way at least equal to 7.5. It's got to equal at least a 7.5 to 1 odds. I'm going to hit my set.
Eric's going to come out and bet here. He's made a set of, and Eric actually just has Jack 7 there. We have his Jack, but he's got 2 pair. And Sylvester's going to raise with pocket 10s, but Eric still has the best hand here with Jack 7. Turn is a queen.
Well, and 10s are looking open-ended now, right? Yeah.
Sylvester bets, and Eric calls again. Eric has Jack 7, and the river here is a 3.
And Russ is obviously not in the hand.
And it goes check, check here, and 2 pair there. Jack 7's going to take it down.
I mean, because there's also people also forget the fact they automatically assume that when you hit a set, you're definitely going to win the pot. And there are those times that you hit a set and still get drawn out on. You hit a set and somebody has a flush draw. Well, now they're going to hit their flush 1 out of 3 times too. Or you hit a set and somebody has a straight draw and so forth. So it's not necessarily always happen that you're going to hit a set and win the pot.
And absolutely, I mean, and the ones that you get killed in Limit Hold'em is when someone else has a higher set. You're really screwed
I mean,
then.
you get higher sets. I mean,
Anytime you flop a set in Limit Hold'em and you lose, those are the sessions where you lose a lot. Like you said, I come and tell you, Dave, I flopped 4 sets today and I lost them all.
Yeah, you're probably down. At
I'm
least
probably
a
down
rack
about
and a half.
$2,000 in the 30 game,
Yeah.
Right.
But that's one of the reasons why I want a lot of callers. When I'm calling a raise with pocket pairs, I've really got to have a lot of callers.
Nicole has raised here with ace queen. And Rick is called with queen 3 of spades in the big blind. Russ is in there with king 10 offsuit. You see him talking about king 10 offsuit? Would you call a raise with king 10 offsuit and Nicole's raise in the small blind?
Not in the small blind, no.
No, yeah.
Not Nicole's raise, especially.
And Nicole bets here. And Rick's got a flush draw, and he's going to check raise with the flush draw.
2 players.
And Nicole calls, so here we go to the turn. And the turn's the flush. But Nicole has got the nut flush draw in her hand. Rick bets. Nicole checks for the spade, and she's going to call.
And she's stuck in there. She has no choice.
Here we go to the river. River's a spade.
Now, is he going to bet it? Now, does he bet
checked it.
this? Now, let me ask you this. Is there any chance of him betting this and just folding if she raises? Because
Well, I
now
know
he's
that-
got to call.
Yeah, I know that you're a proponent of that.
Well, he's got to call, right?
Of course he has to call. He's got a queen high flush.
And that's the problem with it.
Yeah.
Think about it. You're only going to lose money. You're never going to make money when you have the best hand. And you're only going to lose money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could induce a bluff once
Well,
in a
and the
while.
funny thing about Nicole is I know. Well, and maybe she would stick around with something like with ace jack without a spade. But what I was going to say was if she's calling the check raise on the flop and then calling the turn, chances are she probably has a high spade draw.
Yeah.
It's
Probably.
just. I mean, sometimes you just got to know your players. Right?
I mean, there are two schools of thought. I mean, he could have checked to induce a bluff also, obviously.
If I was suited, I would have played it.
But
I don't
again,
mind.
that normally is not going to work because if someone's check raised, it doesn't have a spade draw on the flop. Rick probably has a minimum of top pair, best kicker, and is not going to necessarily fold to just one bet when a 4 spade comes out on the
Of
river. I
course,
just don't see
right.
it.
Which is why most times he gets checked down. I mean, I'd rather bet the queen there and hope she calls me with,
Right.
maybe a 10 of spades, or 9, a jack of spades, whatever she might have
Now,
had.
here's another play I don't necessarily like. Michael open limped in mid position with ace rag suited. Got raised by Garland with pocket jacks. Garland's going to bet. And Michael folds. I really hate ace rag. I see so many people, Dave, sometimes too. First of all, I think unless the game is extremely loose, limping in an early position with ace rag has little value. And I see some of the best players in this casino do it, and I think it's one of the leaks in their game. Because you and I have this discussion about who we think the best limit hold'em players are, and one of the leaks in their pre-flop hand selection is limping in with the ace rags, suiteds. The other thing, too, is I really don't necessarily like raising in early position with ace 4. Just, it's not really a good hand.
No, it's not. It's not a good hand at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I like ace 4 suited better than ace 7 suited.
Right.
But neither hand is very good.
Obviously, that hand is a drawing hand. You want to probably get in cheap from late position with it, right?
Yeah, or you can, if you're the first person to enter the pot, you can raise it and take control of the pot.
Right.
Take control of it. And if everybody checks you, you can just bet and take it away.
King 10-6 here on the flop.
I mean, once in a while, if it's a really passive table, and 2 people have already limped in, I'll limp in middle position with like ace 4 suited.
Look at that nice aggressive play there by Nicole using her image. Vince checked to her. She bet the flop with ace high. Turn came king. She bet again, and Vince laid down the 6.
Yeah. I mean, you got to understand, one of the reasons why king queen is higher value than, say, ace 4. Now, obviously, heads up, if both players are all in, ace 4 is ahead of king queen. We all know that. But if you hit a pair, if you hit your ace, you're either going to win a small pot or lose a big one probably. If you hit your 4, that's no help usually.
Right.
Because there's a lot of overcards anyway. Now, the odds are if you hit a king or a queen, though, the odds are that card will probably be the top pair on the board.
And this one gets folded around to the blinds.
Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here at Bart Hanson. We're playing Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 8 and 16. You can catch us live at the bike every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 Pacific time. We'll be off next week, the week after Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's. But we have a real treat for you, actually. We've got our LA poker scene shows.
That's right.
The
Two
show
shows a night, 90 minutes each.
Yeah, 2 shows a night. The show that is being shown in England on the Poker Channel.
Pocket 10s here for Nicole.
And there are some classics that are going to be shown next week.
Raise it.
Look at that. Nicole limped in with pocket 10s there. And Rick is going to raise with ace 8 of spades. That's another thing. I just limping in early position, I just don't do it that much.
Re-raise.
Well, no limit you can do a little more limping, I want to say. Get flops for cheap because the implied odds.
Look
Limit
at this. Actually, I
hold'em.
think Nicole limp re-raised. And Rick 4-bet. So Nicole limp re-raised and limit hold'em pocket 10s, and Rick 4-bet with ace 8.
Go.
Wow, and Rick's open-ended. He's going to bet.
Yeah, but he needs one of her 10s.
And is Nicole just going to check all the way here with an check call over way with the overpair? Turns a queen. Neither of them have a heart. And Rick is trying to figure out if he's going to take a card here. He checks.
4-bet with ace spades? Oh. And she's good.
Check.
She checks.
You'd almost put him on jacks, maybe. You know what I mean? The way he's playing
And
it.
he just gives up. Nicole's going to take it down there with pocket 10s. I said it was kind of odd for her to limp in with 10s. Then she saw Rick raise, and then Garland called, and she 3-bet. And then Rick capped it.
Well, and Rick actually helped her because she got rid of Garland.
Right,
Four
right.
checks.
Odd play. The limp re-raise play in Limit Hold'em.
Something I really don't do.
I just don't see the value of it.
And again, tomorrow night, if you want to play against
let's sit open.
David Tuckman, we're going to be having a multi-table tournament on the bike.com's Play for Free site. There's going to be a bounty on your head, David, and it's a $100 free roll for whoever wins the tournament.
Yep.
And how do you qualify for that tournament?
You have to get a promo buck, and you got to play on the bike.com's free site to get that promo buck. So go check it out, and I will see you tomorrow, 8 p.m. Pacific time. Try to knock me off. If you knock me out, you get $200, folks. And that's for free.
6-way action here.
Blind will raise. It sucks.
Like I say, bring it on. Oh, interesting hand here. C2, Vince is betting here with 3-4. He's open-ended with the second pair. And Nicole calls with 6-deuce, bottom pair. Turn is a jack, and Vince is probably going to bet again here.
And Nicole folds. Well, Nicole has bottom pair with a gut shot.
Yeah.
Mintz takes it down there. So did you ever play? I know you were talking about that you used to play on your movement up in your poker life. You used to play 9-18 limit hold'em over at the other casino. Did you play this game too here?
8-16. No, I never played 8-16 to be honest.
Yeah.
I went from. I always played. It seems like I always played the 3-6 structure games.
Yeah.
I played 3-6. I played 4-8 very briefly, but quickly moved to 6-12. Then I went to 9-18. Then I actually went to 15-30.
Wow, you really like those 3-6.
I do. I like the 15-30, and I actually prefer 30-60 as opposed to 24.
Really? Why is that?
I don't know.
Isn't there more action? Some people always make the argument that sometimes the 20 game plays bigger than the 30 game.
Yeah, but maybe it's part of my personality in the sense that those big wild games where you kind of just gotta go in there with the best hand and just hope that it holds up. I don't like that as much as where I can play it heads up, like in a 30-60 game.
Well, there are some casinos that really spread those wild games, like a 25-50 with yellow chips.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
5-chip, 10-chip structured games.
I mean, those.
How about a 5-10 game with $1 chips? I'm sure that would breed a lot of action too.
Yeah. Well, it's the same type of thing as a 25-50 game.
They were considering changing, and I thought they always should have. We used to have a 10-20 game here at the Bike. It was a yellow chip game. It was a 2-4 structured game, and they wanted it to be a plaza game, and that game broke down, maybe 6 months ago. We didn't really spread it anymore. But it would have been really interesting to see that game as a green chip game, I always thought.
Yeah, no, that would have been really interesting.
Yeah.
The problem was it seemed like there was more action in this game because it was a 4-8 structure.
The 8-16 game was bigger than the 10-20.
Yeah, it was. But my style of poker, I really like to isolate people. I like to get it I like to get it heads up or 3-way pots.
Now, here's a perfect example here. We got a button raise. He's raising with Jack Deuce suited. The guy in the small blind's got Ace 8. He's just going to smooth call it. I think that's a fold or a 3-bet in the small blind. You get an open raise with Jack Deuce on the button. And Rick's going to come out with bet with pocket 4s. But Russ has top pair. He checked it from up front. Rick bet. I assume that Eric's going to fold. Let's see what Russ does here. He's going to check raise with Ace 8.
And what do you think of stealing blinds at this level? I mean, is there really a point to it? I see people try and steal blinds, and it looks like they just lose money in the end of it all.
You mean with really inferior hands, you mean?
Jack Deuce.
Well, Rick is going to call. He's got a gut shot to the 5, but it's not really worth that much. Turns a 6. Russ is going to bet here again.
I think it's time Rick gets rid of this one here. Because now you can't even beat spades. If the guy was on a spade draw, he got there. And you know, it's interesting we're talking about obviously different games. And I think what's really important is to figure out what kind of player you are, and then you can figure out what kind of game you're looking for in terms of table selection. You know, there are often times where I'll see somebody and go, "Oh my God, the game is so good, it's so juicy."
Right.
And I'll look at it and I go, "Yeah, it is juicy, but it's not my kind of game." You know, I might do better in this kind of game. And I think depending on what kind of player you are, you know, you've got to figure out what game is best for your style.
Button's going to move over there to Rick in seat 9. We have a new player coming into seat 7 here, Dave. Carl. He's going to do a short buy, $80.
$80.
And this guy is a tournament player, Dave. I remember the look of his face. You know, you would almost, and I don't mean to say this in a derogatory type of comment, but I would say kind of like a railbird in the sense that he plays like a lot of those nooner tournaments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, like
Good
$15 plus rebuys.
Oh, one of those guys.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Carl.
Carl.
He's got ace, king, and diamonds first hand. He raises it up. We got 3-way action here.
$80. That's not much money in this game.
No. King deuce 6. He's hit top pair, and Sylvester has got top pair as well. And Carl bets.
Carl might make some money in this one.
Now Sylvester check raises, and again, this is almost as good to me as an overpair. I might just smooth call and raise the turn.
Definitely.
And I think that's what he's going to do.
Definitely.
But he just calls.
What?
He just called the turn, and the river's an 8.
Do you raise the river then?
No, just called.
Kings.
Well, Ace King is good.
And he was like ready to muck it. Like it was like.
You wonder if he might be playing with a little bit of scared money or something in this game.
Yeah.
I don't know, but anytime someone buys in for 80, you gotta clue your head and be like, what? Buying in for 80 in this
Right.
game?
Well, that's the funny thing. It's like a lot of people obviously when I played the $5,000 game, a lot of people are like, "Wow, is Dave playing with scared money?" And it's interesting. You can be scared money and play 3-6.
Right.
You can be scared money. I mean, the first time my wife played Limit Hold'em, she played 4-8 at Bellagio. She was scared out of her wits.
Right.
Oh, I mean, she was terrified. And for her, that was scared money. She bought in for a couple $100, and she was terrified.
How did she do?
She lost.
Yeah.
But she did well. I mean, she did well. She did okay.
King Jack suited here for Rick. He's going to raise it up.
Thank you.
God bless you.
And Sylvester's going to call here with Queen 7 of Diamonds.
Well, maybe he's tilting a little bit.
Oh,
here.
look at this flop. 7-7-4. Break bets.
And this is one of the problems in Limit Hold'em also is, are there really any implied odds on this? I mean, Rick really should just, now Rick's got the spade draw.
Well, Rick's got the nut flush draw. He's going to bet again, and I'm sure Sylvester's going to raise here.
And Rick can't go anywhere now.
Yeah. This obviously would be an easy fold for Rick if he didn't have the spades, but...
Right.
I mean, is Rick thinking maybe I can play back like this guy's just making a move? No, he just called. He doesn't seem too pleased about it either.
No, and if he catches the queen of spades, he's in trouble.
Spade, it can't be the queen. It's a 9.
And obviously the 4 of spades, but that's pretty obvious. Check, bet, fold. I got to imagine, right?
Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
We get about, less than a half an hour left in the show.
I mean, I guess, to me, anytime you're playing with... And it's weird, I mean, whether you call it scared money or maybe you're just moving up in limits, anytime you're playing with money that you need, for something else, it can be scared money. Even if you're playing a 3-6 game or an 8-16 game.
Button moves over here to seat number 2.
One of the reasons really why you should never play in a game that you need, you don't play with your rent money. Pocket 3s for Vince. He's going to limp in.
4-way action here.
That's
King,
good.
Jack 7 here. A couple
Pretty good
hearts.
flop for pocket 3s, huh?
Oh, he's going to bet here. But I mean, this might be the power that everyone else missed.
Well, this is the power position here. Let's see if...
well, Garland, I guess he doesn't buy it, or he's going to try to figure out here. He's going to check raise with middle pair, no kicker.
Re-raise.
And look at this. Vince re-raises, and Garland might get bluffed out here again.
Well,
not this time. He's
but it
going to
seems
call.
like every time somebody's bluffing Garland really doesn't have much.
Turns a 9. And how can Garland continue? Now, see, he's not going to call here.
The power of position there. And you wonder, I mean, if these guys are really...
He shows the pocket 3s, Dave.
And you wonder if these guys are really privy to the way Garland plays.
It seems like they are.
But you know what, though? Let's look at Garland's stack, though, because Garland's got a lot of chips in front of him.
Yeah.
I don't mind getting bluffed out once in a while in this game. Go ahead, bluff me. It's not a big deal. Garland doesn't seem to get upset by it either.
Right.
I tried.
He's got probably close to $450, actually close to $500 in front of him, and he's like, okay, whatever.
Now here's classic limit hold'em there, Dave. Can we show seat 6's whole card camera, what this guy limped in here with? I don't know if you can flip it. There it is. Under the gun.
Under the gun, 6-5 suited.
56.
Yeah.
Yep.
To me, that's a big leak in somebody's game.
Yep.
No limit hold'em. To be honest with you, even no limit hold'em under the gun, I wouldn't play that.
No, of course not.
Under the gun, I'm looking for an excuse not to play a hand.
5-way action here, limped around. Jack 5-3.
Now, you can play 6-5 in position because now you've got a top piece of it. If everybody checks to you, you can bet.
Well, Nicole bet here. And look at this. Eric Calder with the middle pair.
Yeah. Backdoor flush draw.
Well, he's picked up the backdoor, and now he has a straight draw as well.
Yeah, any 4, any club, a 5 or a 6, I'll do it for him.
Nicole's going to bet here again, and that's a perfect spot, I think. And the river's a club.
And it's the 4, wow.
And he's going to bet here.
And you know what? Nicole can safely throw this away because of the ace, the wheel draw.
Well, the other funny thing here, too, against a player like Nicole, if I somehow got myself into a spot where I called the flop, and she called, though, Dave.
Did call all
Yeah,
the way to that.
you really could raise the turn, and if she was betting out of early position, like she might be with a weak jack. Now, in this case, she happened to have queen jack, but she was in the big blind. If she bet with a weak jack on the turn, can her hand really take a raise?
It can't, but the problem is Nicole's been calling down guys all night.
Yeah.
If you raise her on the turn, she's going to call you anyway. Right?
But I guess the point is she shouldn't, right?
I know, I don't think so.
Yeah. It just goes to show you she's one of the most tight, solid people on the table, and she's still calling there. How many people really, raise there on the turn as a move? When
Right,
somebody
no, it
calls
just
like
doesn't
that?
happen.
Yeah.
And it's one of those times, to be honest with you, if he raises the turn and she just calls, he gets either a free showdown, or if he gets there, he can bet it.
Right.
Four players.
When they were suited and you laid it down? Come on, man.
Flop of queen 8-7 rainbow. Nobody's got a queen. Nobody has an 8. And Michael has the 7. He's going to bet it. In position in the cutoff seat. Good bet here by Michael. Real strong. Use your position.
Well, he has the best hand. So what do you think about the Chargers beating the Colts? I honestly thought that there was a really good shot that they were going to beat them.
It's an interesting thing. People talk about, wow. I mean, I honestly think if the Colts were to play the Chargers, 5 times, the Colts would win 4-5.
Right.
The fact of the matter is the Colts were playing for nothing, really.
Well, now what they say is it could really help the Colts because now they actually can rest their people against Seattle.
Yeah, well, the Colts will probably lose next week, too.
Yeah, I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was
here
clear
for
that
Rick.
San Diego was playing, had a little more motivation for the game.
Right.
San Diego had their playoff lives at stake.
Right.
The Colts had everything wrapped up already.
Rick Ray's here with Pocket Kings.
Is he going to take it down? He does.
Looks like that guy had deuce 7 offsuit.
Yeah, Carl's a pretty solid player, to be honest. I've played some small no limit with him.
Yeah.
And he's a decent player.
Now, it's funny supposedly what they say, well, now there's a leak in Indy's game. Well, it's not really a leak. What it is if you get a good pass rush against them, just like any other team, you can really expose Peyton Manning and, have him make a lot of mistakes. But, I mean, but you need to have that type of, lineup to be able to have a pass rush. I mean,
I think
the Jets know the Indy's weakness, too. Are they going to beat Indy because they know they need to have a pass rush?
I think it's a bunch of crap. I think the fact of the matter is, Indianapolis didn't have their A game on. San Diego was playing for something. I don't put much weight into it.
You know who's got a good pass rush now these days, Dave?
Who are your Patsies?
That's right.
Oh, God. You realize they played like 5 weeks ago, and it wasn't even a game. It wasn't even close.
Carl's got overcards, and the nut flush draw. The pot was limped around, and he's going to come out and bet. And Sylvester there's got top pair. He's going to pop it up with 7-8. Now, Nicole has she's double gutted here, right, Dave, with the backdoor club draw. She folds.
It's interesting. I'm surprised she didn't call that.
Right, me too. And now she would have picked up the club draw.
But she also might think that her ace is good as well. I don't know if maybe she didn't see the double gutter. The fact that a 6 or a deuce would have given her straight.
Carl checks. Sylvester bets. And here we go to the river.
It was a double bet, and she would have gotten there right there.
She would have made the wheel. And the 7 is good.
It's funny. Oftentimes, if she had 6-8 there, instead of ace-4, you think she calls? She might call that, right? But ace-4 clubs, for some reason, she doesn't call that.
Like you said, it was a double bet, but normally if you're open-ended or a flush draw, you can make a double small bet call.
Right. Well, she's also got to count. I mean, I don't know if she wants to or not, if she thinks the ace is any good.
Yeah.
But if she counts that as outs, if she counts those as outs as well, if she puts the guy on a 7,
Right.
As long as he doesn't have ace-7, if he has 8-7 or 9-7 or 7-6, well, then you got to look at it and go, well, maybe my ace is good. And in that case, I have 11 outs plus the backdoor flush draw.
No point. I can only be
Buttons in seat 7 here. Now, Sylvester's going to limp in here with pocket 4s. And Mike is in there with king 6 of diamonds. He limps in. And Nicola's going to raise it up here with ace 10 offsuit. Rick's got a jack 10. He's going to call.
4 ways now?
Yep. 8 small bets in there.
So 4 ways, $8. And we're at $32 pot to the flop.
Ace king 6. Actually, $64 bet. 8.
Oh, is it raised?
8 small bets, yeah.
You raise me one more time. Raise.
And we got a bet here by Michael and a raise by Nicole.
Yeah, pretty straightforward here.
Michael's
Now,
gonna
yeah,
call.
Michael's got 2 pair here, though.
Yeah, he does. He's got bottom 2 pair. And he just called.
How do you just call that?
Turns
Come
to
on,
7.
Michael,
What is he
step it
gonna
up,
do?
buddy.
I guess he's scared of ace-king, Dave. Wow, that is really, really passive with 2 pair. Nicole might bet the river here, too, thinking here she's good. Well, it's a spade.
Yeah, but it's
a
a backdoor
deuce.
flush draw, though.
Well, I don't think she likes her kicker, so she just checked it down. 2 pair, and you're like, wow, really? 2 pair? Sometimes, Dave, the funniest things is that I really love to value bet the rivers in limit hold'em, because I know that, if someone's going to check raise me, I usually can safely throw it away. There's a lot of times where I will bet and the guy will call, and he has something like as high as like a straight, and I'm betting with ace-king. I'm thinking to myself, what?
Yeah, no.
No.
Well, it's funny, experienced limit players will often bet to get information as well.
Right.
And when you're not raised, you go, okay, well, my hand must be good. I'll keep
Right,
betting.
right.
And then the guy turns over 2 pair, in this case 2 pair, and you don't realize that some players are really passive. And they'll check down anything short of the nuts.
Now, king, queen of hearts here. Now, let's see what Rick does with ace rag suited in the small blind. Another hand that I will probably fold to.
In the small blind, yeah. In the big blind, I call that.
Right, but I'm not going to play it out in late position. Why am I going to call it in the blind?
Yeah, in the small blind, it's too much. You're asking for 6 chips. I've only got 2 chips in
And
there.
look, he does. He folds the ace rag suited.
Yeah, in the big blind, though, if I have a pocket pair, small pocket pair,
Right.
or a suited,
Right.
I will play that.
So here we go. Set of deuces there for Russ. He made the call. Eric bets.
I don't think you can get paid off at all here.
Russ
Okay.
just calls. He did not raise with the set. Turns a 7. Check.
I got to tell you, if you're Eric here, do you just shut down?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he does.
check folds.
I mean, king, queen of hearts. Can't get any worse there. It's 5, 6, 7
Right.
deuce, 3 clubs.
Right.
Got about 20 minutes left in our show, 15 minutes left in the show tonight. Don't forget to catch us tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific time.
And I think, Dave, we are either going to be doing, obviously, a no-limit hold'em game, but I think that we might be doing heads-up action, too, if the teams are all
Heads up
set up.
action, really? Wow. Maybe I'll play. We'll see. Although, actually, I'm playing in the tournament myself, so I'll have to see time-wise. If you guys want to play against me, it's Tuckman versus the World 2 tomorrow. Because I nobody beat me the last time I had a bounty. My bounty has been doubled to $200. So knock me out and you get $200. All you got to do is get a promo buck from the bike.com's free site and play. Join the tournament. 8 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow.
Pocket kings here for seat 2. And he is in the big blind.
And one of the problems, obviously, last week, 2 weeks ago when we played it, was obviously we could only play against one table. When I was in the thing. But now we get to be a whole tournament, so everybody gets a shot.
Wow, this is going to get folded and they're going to chop it.
no. You got a big hand?
Oh, we could check.
Why you check? Oh, God. Oh, well.
I got to tell you another funny thing, Dave. The funniest thing in the world is I'll chop, but if you have a jackpot hand, let's call and check it down. I mean, why don't I just buy a scratch ticket or a lottery ticket? It's a joke.
Well, it's worse. Yeah, the worse odds than that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Basically, you're going to pay $4 for the odds of you hitting a.
Yeah, a
You're going to
jackpot.
pay an extra $4 to hit the jackpot.
Absolute joke.
When somebody says that to me, my attitude is always, and that was actually jackpot. Those two guys said jackpot
Yeah.
hands. But when anybody says that to me, I go, okay, the odds of hitting 3 aces on the flop. What do you think the odds of hitting that are?
Right.
You know, I go, come on.
Yeah.
But if somebody really insists upon it, like I have a jackpot hand, I want to play. I go, okay, let's just not chop then. We'll play all the time.
Right. Limped around here. Open limp here with 9-6 of spades on the button, I believe. Actually, that's not true. Nicole had king jack and she limped in.
So Sylvester, what is he in there with? On the button, 9-6 of spades?
Yeah, one limper.
Oh, okay.
Nicole bets out. Again, that's another hand that Nicole has, and I'm probably going to bring that in for a raise or fold. I'm not going to limp under the gun with king jack offsuit.
You know, and the funny thing is, a lot of people say, they go, well, king jack offsuit is not that good a hand. Okay, then fold it.
Right.
But there's a problem with king jack offsuit is you don't want a lot of players there.
Right.
I'll put it this way. If I'm in the limping mood in early position, I want to limp in with a small pocket pair or maybe ace rag suited to induce other people to limp in also so we can get a big pot. And I can get it multi-way. King jack offsuit, though, I don't want 5 people calling me.
Do I have to show these people my cards? Is that the law or no?
Yeah, they'll come and ask you.
They'll harass you.
Pocket aces here for seat 6. Eric, he's going to raise it up.
And this, on the other hand, Nicole limped in with Jack 10 suited in early position.
That's what we just had that discussion,
Yeah.
didn't we, about a couple hours ago?
Now, to me, the only problem I have with that hand we were talking about is it's a drawing hand generally,
Right.
and
Well,
it's
not
just
at
tough
this-
to manipulate it.
At this table, I probably wouldn't play it. At a really, really loose table, Dave, I
I might limp in, yeah.
They'll have time to pipe up against it.
But now she's going to see it heads up against
Right.
aces. And Eric's got the ace of hearts. So she's in really bad shape.
And I think that Carl muffed King 6 of hearts as well over there in seat
Oh,
7.
she's in really bad
Got
shape
to
here.
type it in.
No, check fold here, probably.
I would assume so.
There you go. I mean, I am amazed, and it doesn't matter what level it is, Dave. I'm amazed with what garbage some people play in limit hold'em games. I mean, I saw a couple of guys today in the 30 game this afternoon routinely limping in with deuce 4 suited, then up and down suited, queen 3 under the gun. And I'm saying, wow.
You got to love that.
Yeah, it's
I mean, our own Grace and Patty. Actually, they don't work here anymore,
Right.
but they constantly would like. I mean, there were a couple of times where she would call my raise heads up. She'd call my raise at like 10 deuce suited, and she'd catch 2 deuces. You know, she'd catch
Right,
trip deuces,
right.
and I'd look at her. I go, Grace, and she'd look at me and she'd be like, "Come on, Dave, it was suited. What do you expect?" I go, "Okay, well, hey, you know." I'm
wow,
not-
and look at this. Nicole's defending in her blind with 8-3 suited with 2 people in there.
Go get him.
Raised by Vince with ace 7.
Go get him.
Garland called with king jack.
Well, it's not a bad flop for Garland there.
Garland check raised here.
No, he's got a flush draw.
Not going to bluff with 2 threes again.
And Vince is. This is one of the times Vince is calling. Okay.
Turns a 4. What is he going to do now? He does have the best hand.
Yeah, but.
And he, no, there, now he's going to
I'm a
fold.
bluff, man.
I mean, there's one of those times where you could throw it away almost right away.
And he showed him semi-bluff.
Yeah.
Although the river was a jack, so he would have had the best hand.
I know, but he just wanted to do that,
I didn't
man.
have anything.
I know, but he's still mad at the threes, man.
I mean, I never bemoan somebody for putting their money in the pot. As long as it's their money, do what you want with it. Have a good time. Have, you know, like most of the people that come to the casino, most of them are not professionals. They come here to have a good time.
If I bluff that,
And as long as it's their money,
This is my life
do what you
savings.
want.
It ain't a game to me, okay?
I mean, one of my biggest pet peeves is players at the table that are like, you know, the starting hand police. You called me with that? I can't believe you're playing that way. You know what I mean? Just be quiet. You play your cards.
Open limp by Sylvester with 9-10 offsuit. And we got an ace rag in there from seat 2. And again, we got 2 limpers in the blind.
You're all right with me, dude.
And Eric flops a flush. Let's see how he plays it.
And now Nicole, she just threw away her small blind, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, she called a raise with 8-3, but she actually doesn't call for 2 extra chips.
Well, Eric check. We got a bet by Sylvester. Seat 2 raises, and Eric check raised 3 bets, and we're heads up ace 5 against 7-3. Oh, and that's going to kill a little of the action. Although Eric doesn't even know if he's good now. Queen comes off, and all Eric has is a 7 high flush.
Yeah, and Vince bet right into it. Well, although
He's in
Eric
position.
checked to him.
Yeah.
Eric checked him, inducing this bluff. And this is another time. He definitely check here and check and maybe call.
Wow. But he does have the 7 of hearts in his hand, so his hand will
Yeah,
play.
his 7 barely plays.
But it does play. And there it is, David.
Take it down, Eric.
that's how it is. He almost told it. If I don't bet, I can't win.
So you think that in the playoffs, the Patriots are most likely going to play
Well, they'll be the 4th seed. They'll probably end up playing, I don't know, maybe Jacksonville or San Diego or somebody like
Pittsburgh,
that.
something like that.
Right.
And the interesting thing is that the way that the NFL playoffs are set up, if they play Indianapolis in the second round, the AFC Championship game will not be in New England, because what it means is that 2 and 3 seeds are still in.
Right, exactly.
So
I mean, in all likelihood, the way it'll work out,
Yeah.
because the top 4 teams look like they're the best 4 teams, it looks like it'll probably be New England in Indianapolis and
second round, yeah.
Denver and Cincinnati probably.
Oh, man, I was going to take a walk, dude.
Garland's got pocket kings. He's going to raise it up here. And he's probably going to take it down. Doesn't look like these guys have much. I love the way that the NFL reseeds the playoff teams. Though, Dave.
Yeah.
But I got no chip.
Well, they don't want to award somebody like the NCAA tournament,
Right.
like in March Madness.
Right.
You know, if a 16 beats the 1,
They get to play an 8 the next
exactly.
round. Right.
Actually, the year Syracuse got to the finals versus Kentucky, I want to say in '96, they got to the NCAA tournament finals versus Kentucky and
They were
lost.
in 8. They beat the 1, right, in the second round, I believe.
Yeah, they beat the 1, which was a big one,
Right.
but then they got to play like the 5,
Right.
and you know what I mean. They played a bunch of weaker teams. No, I'm sorry.
I turned a 6.
Syracuse was like the 5 seed, but the 8 beat the 1.
Oh, that. Yeah, you're right. That's
Right,
what it
and then
was. Yeah.
Syracuse beat the 8 seed.
Right. Right.
So the Syracuse only really had to play like the best team they played was like a 4 seed or 5. You know what I mean? It wasn't that good, and they got all the way
Look at that. That's slick.
to the finals that way. And I think it was '96,
Button raise.
and obviously that couldn't happen in the NFL.
Yeah, that was the year I was a huge UMass fan that Kentucky beat UMass in the semis. UMass had 1 loss the entire season. They were about 35-1. Three-way action here. The
But you
Minutemen.
were yet to be a Syracuse fan, huh?
Yeah, I was a diehard UMass when I was in high school, college basketball.
Well, Eric's got the best hand here, but once again, Ace Rag is probably going to make no money on it, and he does.
That was during that time, Dave, in the mid-'90s when the Atlantic 10 was actually better than the Big East, with UMass, George Washington, Temple, St. Joseph, St. Bonaventure, teams like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was better, but it was definitely
better.
good. Okay. I guess to each their own. You can,
Button's going to move over there. To
I always think the Big East is actually a very underrated conference. For some reason, the ACC gets all the prep, or the Big 10 gets prep, or Big 12. And for some reason, the Big East always seems to get slighted. Yet we have perennial powerhouses in Syracuse and UConn. And, you know, even when Georgetown and St. John's started fading after the 80s, you still have, Villanova now this year is really good.
Open limp there in seat 2 with Jack 5 of clubs.
Any conference that has UConn and Syracuse has got to be considered a pretty elite
For
conference.
basketball, you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Oh, obviously, the football conference is a joke.
No way we have a chance. See number 6.
And we got 5-way action limped around in the blinds.
Raise again. What?
Don't have a raising.
Oh, don't have
Rick's in there in the big blind with 6-3. 10 deuce here on the flop. See if Eric puts a bet in if he gets checked to him with pocket 4s here. Actually, it's Sylvester who's going to bet. He's almost like playing it like a little bit like no limit, like bluffing here. The paired board, maybe it missed everyone, but it looks like he's going to take it down.
Yeah, why not? Eric just threw that away real easy, huh? Guess he can't beat a 10, so. Figure Sylvester's either got something beat me or he's on a complete bluff, so.
I'm about to raise. I got no balls. I got no chips. I got no balls. You know, what could you do?
A little more information than I need to know, but hey,
Chips give you balls.
thanks for
If
sharing.
I had your chips, I'd do it.
You got your neighbor.
Once again, you're watching us at Live at the Bike. We try to do everything here. Kind of make it like sports talk radio also.
Right. It's funny that Carl is saying if I had your chips, I'd make this move and stuff. And it's just so funny because it's not a tournament, it's a cash game. But I think, maybe this is his last $80 or something. And I don't know that.
Right.
I don't mean to,
No,
like I
you
said,
have no
say
idea,
that
obviously.
in a derogatory. But see, if you listen to the way he's saying,
Soccer balls, golf
because I think he did say this is his life. It's not a game to him.
Right, and in
Yeah.
that case,
Right.
like when I jumped in and played the $5,000 game,
Right.
I've been having a pretty good December, so I figured, I'll take a shot. If I lose, I lose, whatever. But I'm going to try to play my game. If it's your last $80, don't play 8-16. Go play 3-6. So you're not scared to move it around.
Well, Sylvester comes out and bets here with 10-9. He's got top pair. Both Carl and Eric both have flush draws. And Eric's going to raise here with his flush draw.
not so fast.
Now, this is a time with overcards and ace-jack of diamonds. I mean,
I 3-bet this if I'm Carl.
well, he's just calls. Drive something like a weak 9 out of there.
Exactly. You can probably get a 9 out.
What is Vince doing in there in the flop?
You can also, if you don't get if nobody has a 7 here, you get yourself the free cards.
What is Vince?
What do
you made the call here with Queen Jack of clubs on the flop.
Yeah, very Jerry Buss-esque.
No, not almost.
Well, here we go. Chances of the diamond flush coming are slim, but there it is on the turn.
What do you know?
And both Eric and Carl have the nut diamonds.
Yeah, nobody has a 7 here. I mean, Sylvester's still drawing live, I suppose.
Excuse me, Eric's got the second nut. Carl's got the nut. Bet and a raise.
And it's heads up here.
And Eric is drawing it dead. But to Carl's luck, probably the board will pair and he won't get another bet out of it. Look at that. There it is, Dave.
Well,
And it does. They check it down. I knew it.
and Sylvester would have won the pot actually with 10-9. Man.
I had a feeling there, David, with Carl's luck, he wasn't going to get a bet there. And this is going to be the last hand of the night.
Well, it's interesting there. Carl put his balls on the table.
So
Get
join
everything
us,
here.
Join us tomorrow. Again, it's tentatively scheduled as heads-up action.
Heads up
Team
action.
versus team play. And then
Even better than that, you can play against me while you're watching Live at the Bike.
at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Just, go to thebike.com, check out the free software, and get yourself a promo button, Dave.
Obviously, there'll be you and Shirley will talk about it tomorrow.
Right.
I can't bet at that point. I was too fair on the board to bet. I was afraid one of you fools was playing in the first place.
But I got people calling me behind me that my chance.
Folded around here to seat 7, Carl. He's going to fold. And look at Rick Nebbiolo steal here. He's got 9-4 offsuit. And Sylvester, did he just call or did he 3-bet? See, I would definitely 3-bet there with ace-8.
I just don't. Stealing blinds in a limit game is
With
rarely.
absolutely nothing, right? Yeah.
I mean, unless I really know the players I'm playing against,
Right.
there's just not much value to it.
Now, Rick bet the flop, and Sylvester, I believe, check raised.
Yeah, he did. He's second pair here. He thinks Rick is full of crap,
And he is full of crap.
and he throws it away.
Well,
Nice play by Sylvester there.
that is going to do it for us tonight. Again, we had a lot of fun playing Limit Hold'em.
We did.
Please join us tomorrow night for another episode of Live at the Bike. We do this every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 Pacific time, so for everyone in the booth. And for David Tuckman, I'm Bart Hanson. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
I'm a post.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.